I told you the story of when Michelle one time, I had like a hair on my shoulder and she pulled it and it was like a full like long head hair, but it was just like on my shoulder, like growing out of my shoulder. Fucking wild.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Where's my little thing that you made for us, Caissie? Where is it? That little.
It's in your.
No, I know, but I had it up. That's what I'm
you
just
had
saying.
it. Oh,
you know,
gotcha.
my desktop is a fucking mess.
Oh,
I almost had an email that I wanted to finish right now, but I was scolded last week.
You don't want to get scolded by me?
No, I don't, and I get it. And
I always scold Busy for doing work at the beginning of the podcast. Because she at the beginning of the podcast, when the podcast starts, then she'll just be like, I'm just finishing an email. And then I'm like, then I always tell the guest host, Busy just does a little work at the beginning of the podcast. Because she's busy. She's like a business lady.
She likes a deadline, right? She likes that pressure right before.
Yeah.
I am trying my best.
I've heard this.
I'm trying to get it all fucking done. It's a lot. And most days I don't do it. You know what I mean? Like most days I don't get it all done. Or I'm like constantly in a state of fear. That
I think you're also rarely sat down in front of a computer. So when you are,
that's true.
You're
true.
Gonna shoot off an email. What are you gonna do? But I do like to tease you about it.
I know.
I don't get to tease you about much.
No, I think it's fair. And I think Kulap gets it. Kulap, you're a person who similarly, I would say, I think you do a lot of things and you have a lot of jobs and you always have like a hand in 47 different projects at one time. Is that correct?
That's right. Maybe not 47, but as many fingers and toes as I have. I'm just like, putting fingers. Yeah. Trying.
Have you always been like that? Do you think?
Yes and no, because I'm a Taurus sun. Thank you. I'll start there.
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? But of course, an Aries moon and a Gemini rising. But so the thing about that all is like Aries is like, let's start, let's go now, let's go right now. And Gemini is like, let's talk. And sometimes Taurus is like, I'll move when I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have sometimes switches where I'm just like shutting down. Beautiful cashmere blanket, pillows here, pillow here, pillow here. And I'm like, nothing's happening. And then there's other times when it's just go, go, go. So I sometimes tend to vacillate between those two gears.
That actually seems nice, though. That seems like you have like a good balance, is what I would say.
Sometimes it works out that way.
Sometimes it works out that way. Well, hi, guys.
Interesting.
Welcome to
we've
this.
Done it again.
Welcome to this podcast. And by we, I just want you to know Caissie means me. She means me.
No, I did it as
historically
well.
speaking, my job to start the pod since it is eponymous with my name.
Well,
Eponymous with my name, is that right? No. Oh.
I mean,
guys,
say
I'm
it.
supposed to
I
wear
know the word
Invisalign.
hippopotamus.
Oh, love that one. You guys, I'm supposed to wear these Invisalign at least 20 hours a day, but I don't think that this is going to be good podcasting. I'm almost positive that
I'm
nobody.
sure someone likes it.
You think? Is it a little bit ASMR?
I was going to say some type of ASMR freak out there is really getting goosebumps right now.
But busy, you might be thinking, why would you need Invisalign? Are you maybe getting paid by Invisalign to do that? No. I'm just in a constant pursuit of fucking perfection wherever I can get it and however it comes to me or presents itself. And how it did was that I found a dentist here and she was like, have you thought about Invisalign? And I was like, I have now. Let's do it.
I I don't want to disparage this dentist, but
No, she's wonderful.
I mean, like, but why though?
Because
Why
I
would
get
she-
food, because my teeth are shifting. I get food stuck in my teeth, and you know it drives me fucking nuts.
Okay.
And so, and I look at my grandma Moot, who came through on that psychic reading, which we still have to do that
We have
breakdown.
Yeah.
And
we have to.
Moot did have those like snaggle teeth, and I know that those are my teeth. I know it. I see it in the future. And so I'm like, let's just get ahead of it.
Okay.
I'm going to unsnaggle the teeth now. And I also grind. I grind my teeth. And because of like the way my bite is, I'm like grinding my teeth in a very specific way so that like ultimately, eventually, I think I'll just have like tiny little walrus teeth,
Like
you know,
nubs. Yeah.
Nubs.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think that if it does the thing and sort of fixes the bite enough, the grinding thing will be lessened.
Okay. All right. I feel like the grinding is, for me, it's emotional.
Oh, for sure that, yes. But
Yeah,
no, just
yeah.
the way that I grind
Okay.
it'll be harder for me to do damage. But also, I mean, this guy sawing next
There's
door. I
a guy
can't.
sawing next door to Busy's house. So we're just going to have to live with that. Let's introduce, I'm really excited about our guest co-host today. So let's introduce, can I introduce her? Because I'm so
Please.
excited. Okay. So today our guest co-host is our friend. She also co-hosts a podcast called Add to Cart, which I love this podcast so much. I know if you follow me on Instagram, I talk about this podcast all the time because it's about
You were a
things we-
guest on the podcast.
I was a guest on the podcast. Things we buy, things we decide not to buy, things we're excited about trying.
This is a podcast that was made for me,
Yes, exactly.
like aggressively made for me.
She's very funny. She's the creator and showrunner of the show Bajillion Dollar Properties.
I was on that.
She also made a beautiful documentary about the search for her birth father, finding out about her birth father and the journey for finding her birth father, called Origin Story. That was in 2018, I think, and it's available to stream now on. Is it on Amazon?
Everything but Netflix.
Everything but Netflix.
That's wild.
So everybody, give it up for Kulap Vilaysack.
Hey,
We don't have an audience. I don't know why I said everybody give it up for. I started doing stand up for like a second.
I was hopeful that somebody was going to cheer. I for a second was like, well, Caissie knows something I don't, but that's exciting.
We're so excited. We've been trying to get you to come be on the podcast forever, but you are busy because you have a lot going on.
You do.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm busy. I'm a little upset that you took out your Invisalign.
Well, I can put it
because
back in.
I grew accustomed to it. It was
Okay,
shocking
okay.
at first, but now to me, it's like busy cosplaying as a teen.
I
And
did
it
think
really works.
Thank you. Well, I do want to say that I haven't done this yet. We just got the word that Girls 5 Eva is picked up, guys. Season 2. Thank God.
Congratulations.
Kulap, as a person who has done the thing and had shows, you know, that's that elusive second season. Sometimes you're just like, what do I have to do? We're so excited to do it. But I was going to call Meredith Scardino and just say, like, maybe Summer has like Invisalign next season. But also knowing Tina and knowing like Meredith and how their jokes work, it like would be like the next, it wouldn't even be Invisalign. It would be like the next iteration of whatever they come up with that would be insane, that
And
I would
more
have in my
uncomfortable.
mouth, and more
Yes.
uncomfortable. Totally.
And with that dialogue, and you having to push that through your Invisalign.
And I know, and the voice, like I don't even know how I would do. I don't know. I don't even think I can do it anymore. I don't know. I lost it. She's gone. We'll have to rediscover her next season. Anyway, I appreciate it. I think the Invisalign has a lot of potential.
I think so as well. I was curious about that. I was wondering, are you going to do like the Paris Hilton thing in the second season where you just go to your naturally deep voice?
Forgot about that.
We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what choices are made.
Just to be like, suddenly I have like the deepest baritone voice and I just want everyone to accept it.
Is that what happened? I don't remember this.
Yeah, because she had like the It's Hot voice like her whole entire time when she was Paris, like, you know, back when, the Simple Life Paris. And now she's grown up Paris and she has like a grown up Paris voice.
But that was always her voice?
Yeah, I dropped my voice probably early 30s. Because I used to use my voice as a way to make myself non-threatening and to try to control other people.
Sure.
So it was higher. It was like my old phone voice. It was a higher voice. Everything's okay. You're okay. I don't have any feelings, but what are your feelings? Just checking in on you so you don't hurt me. Like that was a thing that I did. And it took an Israeli woman to yell at me to breathe and scream to drop my voice.
Really?
In a weekly 3-hour class that I took called the Grinberg Method.
What's the Grinberg Method? Breathing and screaming and finding your real voice?
That probably isn't their tagline, but that was sort of my experience.
I think it's a great tagline.
Now, to know me is to know also that my 30s was like I have tried and continue to try everything under the sun to be a better person.
Great.
To do my best, trying to do my best. That was definitely one thing.
I do think that that's like a little bit what your 30s are for, no?
It was for me, for
most
sure.
people. Well, I don't know. Maybe not for
well,
most
is that,
people.
I mean, it's so California. I don't know if like people in Minnesota spent their 30s going to heart astrologist and like white lady shamans named Sarah, you know? Like, I feel like...
What did Sarah do for you?
She, I believe in all this stuff, and it's still embarrassing. Okay,
no, I did too. Kulap, I'm literally putting on a crystal as we speak. I'm like putting this crystal on because I was like, I feel like I need this power right now.
Yeah, there are crystals everywhere. There's crystals there. There's crystals there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm pointing them all over my Zoom window right now. Sarah helped me get into shamanic meditation or journeying. And that's where while she's steadily drumming, laying down on a massage table, we kind of go down to a specific place, and she's also journeying with me. And perhaps I'm in, I don't know, like my secret garden or whatever.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying, after like maybe like landing in sort of like a woods and then like going down a tree trunk and then like opening the door to my secret garden where it lies. And maybe I asked for some guides, maybe in the form of animals to come and sort of help me and talk to me.
All right. I love them. And then what are they
busy just now? I want to tell you, your teeth are so straight that it's so wild that you're using Invisalign. And how do I know that? She made kind of an O mouth when I talked about talking to animals.
Listen, again, you have Sarah, I have Invisalign. And it's like different sides, same coin.
Same
coin. You know?
Biz, I'm worried about the Invisalign.
Why?
Because I just want to manage your expectations, because I also did a similar like off-brand not full Invisalign, but like teeth aren't rectangular, you know what I mean? Like they taper at the bottom. And so I feel like there's always going to be a little food that gets between your teeth, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be a little rain that falls. There's always going to be a little lint that gets in your belly button, and there's always going to be a little food between your teeth. You know what I mean? Like even when your teeth are perfectly straight and beautiful. So I just, but you're always going to have a friend that's going to say you got a little food in your teeth.
I hope so. I'm that friend for others, even people I don't know.
Yes.
I will tell anyone if they have something on their face or in their teeth. And one time I told a friend of Emily's that he had something on his face, and he was like, those are my moles. That just, They're my those are my skin tag moles that I have.
That's my face. That's
great.
simply my face.
I apologize, and he was like, "It's fine. I think it's kind of hilarious that you thought." I was like, "You have some hamburger on your face."
No.
We were, to be fair, eating hamburgers.
Oh my God.
That context was necessary.
One time, Florence Henderson, God rest her soul, on what show was it on? I forget some show that I was working on. She said that her most embarrassing moment was that she was on The Tonight Show and Johnny Carson reached over to take a hair off of her face, and it was just like a hair on her face, and it pulled her face. And he was just like, "Oh, so sorry," and patted and she just was.
You guys, wait, was that on camera? Or was it
I think it was in the commercial break,
oh,
but she was just like, "Oh my God, I just wanted to pass out of embarrassment."
Caissie, I told you the story of when Michelle one time, I had a hair on my shoulder and she pulled it and it was a full long head hair, but it was just on my shoulder, growing out of my shoulder. Fucking wild.
Why does that happen?
I don't know. Why does anything happen? We don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That kung fu master hair that just sort of decides to.
I'll never forget it. It
happens to me too.
It was truly upsetting in the moment, but also I was so glad it was Michelle and not Johnny Carson.
I mean, Michelle is super famous, but she's also
she's my best friend. So,
your best friend. Yeah,
I can handle that.
Kulap, has anyone famous ever pulled a hair off of you?
Kulap has so many famous friends. Surely one of them has pulled a hair off of her.
I'm trying to think. That I feel I would remember. I don't. Sometimes I remember all the good stuff, but I think that would be in the other. I would have remembered this. I can't drum it up. I'm worried that some of your listeners who are shaman heads are going to be upset at me because I've really undersold what shamanism does. I just want you guys to know that I know that.
Okay. That there's more to the story, and also sometimes we be. Is what that was what I was about to say. Sometimes we be.
Is that a t-shirt?
Sometimes we be. I was going to say sometimes when you're doing a podcast or you're talking about a thing among your friends, you can be, not you, just one can be a bit reductive and sort of scoot past the depth of the thing because you're well, we're just telling the story and it's funny and da 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 da. So guys, don't come after Kulap because honestly, she doesn't fucking deserve it. And
it's not erasure; it's truncation of the full story.
Sure. I like that, and I'm happy for truncation to be the word.
I feel like I want to go on a truncation.
I've been on a truncation with you.
You guys, I've been to so many truncations and I always end up buying so much.
What is a truncation? It's you fill your trunk with water or ice.
Or it's, I think, busy.
In my version, it's a trunk show.
It's a trunk show. It's at Bob's Big Boy. Everyone flips their trunk, and there's all these luxury goods for Busy just to grab. Can you imagine?
I love it. Can we start that though?
What if that's our new business?
A trunction. A trunction? A trunk show.
A trunction junction.
A truncation station.
Okay, so many sponsorships with various tequilas, with water to hydrate, of course. I forgot about water. I always talk about water. And then this is not a bad idea.
I love it.
Let's put it,
I wanted to do a thing. Remember, Caissie, when I had that idea for the celebrity garage sale thing that I wanted to do?
Yes.
In a parking lot. And then I was like, oh, everybody does everything online. And then I just put my stuff on Poshmark and did it for charity, which was just easier. Which, by the way, brings me to... Let's just get into it, guys.
Let's get into it.
Fuck into it.
Deep dive. Let's go.
Lots of things to tell you all. Number one. I had one of Kiki's friends, Kiki does my hair for things in Los Angeles, but is also a friend of mine, and also will be in New York from time to time and do my hair here as well. One of Kiki's friends in New York is like a stylist and a closet organizer. And you know me, always on the journey to organize the untamable closet of me. But I also was just like feeling like I really got to get rid of some stuff in my life. Also, I don't need to keep talking about it, but the pandemic did change my body in many ways, shapes and forms. And I'm doing my best to meet myself where I'm at. And I'm also a little bit like, well, she doesn't fit me anymore, so someone else needs to love her. And so about my dresses, not me personally.
Oh,
you know.
I knew that.
Anyway,
I got that.
Right. So
Spark joy and whatnot.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And like, here's the thing. Marie Kondo, bless. I'm not a Marie Kondo person. I love stuff. I love stuff that, stuff does bring me joy, sparks joy. Like I love the memories of things and I like having things. I like holding on to things. I have a pair of shorts that I've had since 7th grade. I am I love their Gap and their like cargo shorts with camo on them. They're just great. I actually don't know where they are though. They're missing.
Uh-oh.
I think they might be with some of Mark's clothing that has not been looked through yet. Anyway, because lots of people.
And I definitely see you as like a maximalist.
I am a maximalist.
You're like
For sure.
Lady Elaine Fairchild living in a museum go-round.
That's true. In many ways, I'm like Lady Elaine. Sometimes I look like her. And now I maybe even talk like her because of my Invisalign. But the point being, I had these wonderful ladies come. RG is one of the ladies, the Kiki's friend RG. And she went through all my stuff with me. And we had, I think it's like 8 boxes that I'm shipping off to Poshmark to do some more sales for some charity things.
And these are big boxes, I'm assuming.
These are the big boxes. These are big boxes of clothing and shoes and purses and stuff, just fucking stuff. And
that makes me feel good just hearing about it. I love things to be ordered.
Yeah, it feels good. And I will say Ray was like ready to ship it the day after they left. And I was like, I need 2 weeks. And he was like, okay. But I took my 2 weeks and then I went through the boxes again by myself. And I only took out like 7 things.
Out of 8 boxes?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I felt proud of myself in that way. But anyway, so that's exciting. And I don't know, I'll have to talk to Poshmark because they help with the sales for charity and stuff. And so I'll keep everybody posted about when the clothes will go up. But there's lots of cute dresses. And I know people were like, your shit's expensive. And I'm like, well, some of it is, but some of it is also, J. Crew, Madewell, like, less expensive brands. And I just like doing it this way instead of like taking the super expensive stuff to another place and trying to sell it there. And like, it's just all too much. I like the Poshmark and if it's too expensive, I don't know, just make an offer. Let's see.
Well, the other thing is if you split that up, I don't think 8 boxes would be going out. Like this is how we're getting those 8 boxes out the door. Easy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Easy.
right. And the other thing that's crazy is the last time I did this Poshmark sale a year ago-ish, I raised so much money. What did I give it to last time? Was it teachers or was it No Kid Hungry? I don't even remember. Guys, I don't remember. But I gave it to someone and it was a lot of money.
Something good.
It was something great.
Awesome.
I just think it's like, that's just like free good karma for everyone involved. You get a cute dress. You've essentially donated to charity.
Yeah.
I get rid of my stuff. I've essentially donated to charity. It's all good. Anyway.
It's a circle. It's a hug.
Everything's a circle. Everything's a circle. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is the Invisalign. Great. We're already on board.
Yeah.
For my straight teeth. Number 3 is... I had something else.
Well, the Invisalign, it's not like we could be off board. I mean, it's already happened. It's not like...
Yeah. What do you, I mean,
That's
I told you. Yeah, I told you my concerns. You know what? It's going to keep food from getting in your teeth because you can't eat when you wear it.
That's true.
And Caissie, what was the brand you used that was off in brand Invisalign? Was it like Opaque-Align? I mean, what
It was like,
what
I don't even want to say it because it was like, it was embarrassing.
was it just a mouth guard from hockey?
I made it myself out of paper clips. And no, it was just another dentist offered non-Invisalign
Right.
brand.
Got it.
Yeah. But Invisalign was first. They're the premier brand.
Got it.
So it was like a secondary brand. You know.
It feels weird. I don't know. I'm like kind of into it though. I do like having a thing to focus on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So there's that.
Yeah.
20 hours, though. I do get that. You got to wear it to make it work.
Got to wear it to make it
20
work.
hours, yeah.
I did sort of wake up this morning and I was like, this is annoying already. Day one.
What? Oh,
Day one.
Do you think they're over asking with the expectation that like maybe you'll do
under
it for 10?
No, I think they're like, first of all, I already told them they couldn't put the like
The bumps.
bumps on my teeth. I was
Glue
like,
the bumps on your teeth.
I'm like, no, what are you talking about? You can't put, that's why I'm not getting braces. Wouldn't I just get braces then? If I let you glue some shit on my teeth? Yeah. Well, the answer is, I guess. I don't know. But I also, my friend Stacy from South Carolina was in town and she was like, I want to take you to this place called The Well here in New York. And you guys, it was like I was in Los Angeles.
Aw, that's good.
It's this place that's like a wellness spa type place, but it's like not just like beauty treatments or something. It's like there's a meditation dome and there's like I had like some energy healing from this incredible woman, Val, who then was like, I think you're going to need some flower remedies, you know, tinctures and things. And then, you know, I've really had a hard time. Like I've really missed a lot of my LA crystal bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like I spent like the whole day there with my friend Stacy. She had like booked this whole thing. It was so sweet and so thoughtful and they were so great there. And the food was like a cauliflower rice bowl, guys. Like Erewhon vibes. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I felt like
home.
I felt home, Kulap. Yeah, I really did. And my energy healing was incredible, and my massage was incredible. Like everything, I just felt so like taken care of, and like energy cleared, and all this shit. And it was really great. I mean, emotion. I don't know if it's like any of it. I held on to any of it. Like almost immediately, that all went out the fucking window as soon as I like walked out the door. But at the moment, I felt really great.
The present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I'm trying to focus on the present, but it's really fucking hard for me.
That is hard.
You needed a taste of home after the pool debacle of last week.
Fucking pool.
Yeah.
Cricket's
Really
like,
needed it.
we're going to take the kids to a place that is very happy.
Ooh.
And I am nervous and also super excited. And the kids are so thrilled. Well, Birdie is fully vaxxed now.
Yeah.
So that's rad. But Cricket, I may force to wear a mask most of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cricks.
That makes sense.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't want that kid to, I mean, that little unicorn.
Yeah.
So what am I doing my best at, though? I don't know. That's all. It's all stuff, but I don't know. Oh, I wonder if I can talk about this. I probably can't. Maybe I should wait. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. You don't even know. Caissie doesn't even know Kulap.
Oh.
And I really want to tell you, too, because I want to brag.
Oh.
But I don't think I can talk about it yet.
Oh,
I don't think so. Let me text someone. You guys, let's continue on, and then I'll see.
Well, I want to hear off mic, so.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, Busy's, what she's doing her best at is TBD. She might have to make something up if she we'll find out.
Beekeepers Naturals. Beekeepers Naturals. You know what I have right here?
Some
You know what I have
Beekeepers
right here?
Naturals
I do.
full
I
of
do.
propolis.
Propolis. Propolis makes my life better, and I love it. They have, this is my little Be Smart brain fuel with royal jelly.
Love.
I take this. It's like a little shot.
Yeah.
And then I'll be right on track for everything that we're going to chat about. I'll just be on it, sharp,
I've
brain
been
health,
doing that
energy
in the-
levels.
Yeah, I've been doing it in the afternoon instead of like an iced coffee, and
Yes.
feeling it, liking it.
Their products don't have shady additives or unnecessary chemicals. How do my Invisalign sound?
I can hear it
A little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Beekeepers Naturals is a female-founded company. You know how we feel about that? We fucking love it. Founder Carly Stein was inspired to reinvent the medicine cabinet when she discovered propolis, a powerful ingredient that bees use to protect their hive from germs. Yes, that's right. It supports your immune system. Carly had struggled with low immunity her whole life, and propolis was the first medicine that actually made her feel like her health was in her hands. That experience inspired her to tackle modern health issues, from stress-based low immunity to brain fog, energy. Like we said, that 3 p.m. slump. Don't get your sugar. Just get some Beekeepers Naturals, guys. I love the Be Immune Propolis throat spray.
Yeah, I use it at night because I'm often woken up with a little allergy attack in the night. And so I feel like just a few sprays before I go to bed is helpful with that.
Well, it's great. Yes, it's great when you have allergies. Anyway, I'm just gonna take this Be Smart right now while we're online, while we're here chatting about it. And guys, I think you should try it. So Beekeepers Naturals is offering you an exclusive offer. You go to beekeepersnaturals.com/busy or enter code busy at your checkout, and you'll get 20% off your first order. That's BeekeepersNaturals.com/busy. Start feeling better every day today. You can also find them, Beekeepers Naturals, nationwide in over 2,000 stores like Target, Whole Foods, and Sprouts. But if you order it online, I get credit. So do it online. I love you guys, and I love you, Beekeepers Naturals. Guys, we've talked about this before. You know I'm a fan. You know I love it. It's called Azuna Fresh. It is an amazing product that makes your air clean. It naturally gets rid of mold and mildew and fungus and bacteria in the air. And there's no like chemical smell. It's not masking it with anything. You get these little jars. You can place them in your house. I have one under the sink. I have one in the trash pull-out drawer. I have one downstairs where we work out. I have one in the laundry room. Remember last week I was like, I have to remember to put one in the laundry room. I put one in the laundry room.
Yes.
That like mildewy smell went away.
Good.
And I have one in our fridge. And I love this product. It has changed my relationship to smells in my home. It has.
That's excellent news. I have one in all those places as well.
It's Azuna Fresh's antimicrobial plant-based products actually clean and neutralize fungus and bacteria in the air, which means it's healthier for everyone, fewer allergies, healthier for your animals in your home, and it eliminates the odors like from the source. No weird chemicals or toxins. It's so much better for you. I can't use air fresheners. Honestly, guys, give me such a migraine headache. And Azuna Fresh, they do.
Yeah, and I don't like plugging things in. I don't feel safe about that.
No, it's weird. Yeah. And these jars last for 60 to 90 days. You don't plug anything in. They also do have a spray for spot treatment, sneakers, clothes, your car, trunk, whatever. Trust me, and Caissie, you need Azuna Fresh for your home. Right now, we have a special offer for our listeners, 20% off your purchase. Go to azunafresh.com today and use promo code BEST for 20% off your new favorite odor eliminator. That's promo code BEST at azunafresh.com. Caissie,
what am I doing my best at this week? I guess just like putting myself out there, trying to like get back into the real world, pitching things to people, pitching a lot of pitches, and being social. I went to dinner, not to name drop, with the host of Dateline, Josh Mankiewicz, and our friend Janie Haddad Tompkins.
How did that come to be? What is the story there?
Well, Josh Mankiewicz and I are like buddies, like social media buddies, and which is just, I think he's a nice guy, and he loves like comedy, and he loves nice people, and so I don't know how we like got put together, but we've been like social media buds for years. And Janie and I, obviously, like all three of us are friends with Janie and her husband Paul F. Tompkins. And and she's a big Dateline fan. And I think one time Janie and I were talking about this particular restaurant on Twitter that we love. And Josh Mankiewicz, I think like tweeted at both of us like, hey, I love that restaurant too. If you ever go there, I'm invited. And Janie
chimed in. He chimed in.
And
always fun when someone you don't know joins.
Yes.
Or someone or more specifically, I should say, someone you don't know, but who is like famous.
Yes. And Janie, like I kind of know him. Janie didn't know him, but then she was like, texting me like, holy shit, do you think he's serious? Will he go to this restaurant with us? And I was like, yeah, of course he's serious. He definitely will. And then the pandemic happened. And so one of like our little things that like got us over the pandemic was to periodically like fantasize about going to this really nice restaurant together and be like, soon, like I heard a vaccine's coming and soon we'll be able to go to this delicious restaurant. And so when everybody started to get vaccinated, one of the things was like, we'd be like, I got my first vaccine. We're so much closer to going to this restaurant. And then like when we were all vaccinated, Josh was like, I made reservations. It's Thursday night, whenever. And so we met up and went to this restaurant. And like, of course, he's like a star there because like it's a special occasion restaurant for like me and Janie, but it's like a regular food restaurant for Josh. Like he just goes there for dinners, I feel like, because like the chef came out and like just chatted with him and all the servers know him, and so
they were like, Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
My mink.
Yeah, exactly. They did. But he's the best. And so Janie was cracking me up because she was like, I mean, I want to ask him about Dateline, but I don't want to ask him too much. And we talked about outfits. It was very teenagery, it was very like, what should we wear? And I was like, I don't know. I came in some like weird business casual outfit because I had like been having meetings all day. And like, then she was like, she had a dress, but then she was like, I feel like it's too dressy. And then she like changed into jeans. She was like, I'm wearing nice jeans. And then it was very teenagery. I felt like it was very teenagery. And then, and we just met up with him and he's great. He has like the best stories and we were dying of laughter the whole time. And, Well,
it's funny because like when you meet an online friend for the first time, it does feel a bit like a first date kind of because you're like, I have this like friend that I've never, what if we don't like each other in person? Like, what if we don't have anything to talk about? Like, I want to, you know what I mean? Like, I just had that with our guest for next week's episode, Katie Storino, the founder of Mega Babe Kulap. And she's
cool.
Like, very cool. And she's got a great Instagram. But I've been following her for years and like a fan. And we would like even sort of, DM and stuff. I had never met her IRL. And then we like had met up for coffee. And I was a little bit like, okay, what am I wearing? What am I going to, is she going to like me? Am I going to like her? What's going to happen? It worked out, guys. Spoiler.
Yeah. I mean, it's different when your atoms and pheromones, commingle and clash. I don't know if those are the right terms, but
you mean for like when like a date vibe,
or just like it's one thing to have a relationship online, but then when you're in person and all of the senses are ignited, it's a whole different sensory experience.
Totally,
yeah.
And it can go either way, but probably it'll be the same.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, I mean, I'm just people a lot of times are like, I think that they get dismissive of like building online friendships. Sometimes some people, not my friends, but I just in general. And I always am like, why would you not try to like make friends with people online? That's how we're
I
doing everything at this point.
The difference is busy. You're always busy, regardless of online and IRL. So you're coming from a place where there are some people who are maybe a bit more performative, and that there can be a disconnect. But you approach things as you do everything, right? You're not acting any differently either way.
No, not really. That's true.
You're very yourself, and you're putting out. I've had a similar situation on more than one occasion where someone has been like, we should meet up. And then I finally meet up with the person who I've been friendly with online, and they're not exactly like they were online, which is fine, but they're very reserved in person. And so I feel like I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting in person, which is also, it's fine, but it's exhausting. You know what I mean? But I always want to ask, like, why did you want to meet up? Like, what? Like, it's clear that you're uncomfortable. But I never ask because I'm like, well, obviously, like I just said, you're trying to put yourself out there and this is like a thing that you're trying to do. But then I always like feel very panicky and trapped. And I'm like, oh no, you tricked me into like doing an exercise where I have to like lead this social date, and I feel like I have a lot of responsibility on me, but it's only happened a few times.
Kulap.
Yeah.
What do you think you've been doing your best at this week?
Oh man. I am relating to everything that you guys have already put into the space. One thing is I had a health reckoning during the pandemic. First of all of my bad habits just got worse, especially, mid-quar. I really was like, Scott, my husband, was making cakes. And then we were like, full cakes, layered cakes. And then he was, let's like, cakes are too much. Then he started making pizzas.
Oh my God.
So guys. So then I finally get back to my doctor and do the battery of tests. And yeah, surprise, surprise, like there is a reckoning to be had in terms of health. So like the beginning of the year, I was like, of course, perfect. Like I'm pre-diabetic. I have a fatty liver. This is all family stuff, but my behavior makes it worse. So I have like a glucose monitor on my arm. The diet for me that works for me is something that is like proteins and basically low sugar, low carbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Same.
when I do that, my body responds. Mm-hmm. And then my birthday in May hit, and it's just been like a slide. I'm trying my best to kind of get me back to like, let's at least let's trend up.
Yeah.
Let's trend up,
I'm with you. So like I feel this in my core. Like I've felt like shit. And like part of it is all the stuff I've been putting in my body, which is not helping, and I'm well aware. And then that was partially like when I went to the well, I was like, this is a whole new journey. I'm back on. And then last night I drank an entire bottle of rosé and I ate 3 Magnolia cupcakes. And I was like, well, that's fucked.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's hard.
It's really, really hard. I mean, listen, these are things that I struggle with obviously all the time as well. And it is a struggle because you want to enjoy your life, but also you want to continue to enjoy your life and be healthy. And, so like, how do you find that balance? And also you don't want to obsess over things. Like you don't want to continually beat yourself up over like,
Well, this is like what I would say. I did Las Culturistas podcast last night.
Yeah.
And I love those guys. And I was talking to them and I was like, here's what it was such a fucking bummer for me is that I felt like finally after my whole life of being disordered in some way about like my body or eating or whatever, partially, I mean, just because of the world that we live in, partially because then the job that I had and messages I was literally being told, like, you need to lose weight for this part or whatever. I finally felt, this is not a joke, like fall 2019 or fall winter 2019, early winter 2020, I was like, I did it. Like I finally fucking did it. I found the balance. I'm doing the thing that I've always wanted to do, which is like threw away the scale. And I'm just like, I'm good. And I liked the way all my clothes fit, but I was still having my nachos and like a margarita occasionally, but I wasn't. And then we know what happened. And then we know what happened. And I held it together. I fucking held it together until like, I want to say June. And then I was just like, this is, just give me all the shit.
Yeah,
I think that's when
for me.
Mid-May.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it was mid-May. And then I just like lost it. Like lost the plot.
You know what? You still held it together in mid-May. You held it together in a different way.
Okay.
I mean,
Right,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the fucking world was upside down. What were you supposed to do?
I don't know.
What were you supposed to do? You could have done so much worse. You could have like gone out in the street and like choked a stranger. You could have like gone out and bought guns. You could have done so many wilder things beside eat cakes or pizzas. You know what I mean? So like, I think what we're all talking about right now is so responsible to feel better and to feel healthier. But what is not responsible of us is to like chastise ourselves for what we did in that moment when we like we literally had the rug ripped out from under us our entire lives.
Yeah, I've really been working on not self-flagellating because it does me no good. And it's also kind of like ego-driven too. Somehow, some way, I find a way. Yeah, like you're right. I know. And I'm just thinking about how like the world is. I mean, I've been fully vaxxed since May 1st, and how that wasn't so long ago. And I just just didn't have anything to celebrate for the longest time. And we started this podcast talking about how I vacillate between two extremes.
Yeah.
and it is this too. It's like I often say to my best friend, one of my best friends, Caissie Rose Wilson, it's like, well, I'm a person of celebration.
Yes.
And so it's so hard for me to go half on a celebration. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the problem is that, seeking that balance, that what's that Venn diagram where I am not like a monk who, is severe and so regimented, but also, discipline's not so bad. What's that? Where I'm still, I think I get it, and I think I've graduated to it, and that sometimes I kind of go, like, come on, Kulap, you've beat that big boss. Why are we starting over?
I identify so strongly with that. Have you been having that feeling of like all vaxxed up and nowhere to go?
Well, I did, and then I have been going to places like last week with the aforementioned Janie Haddad Tompkins and Paul F. Tompkins. We went to Santa Barbara together.
Oh,
and
great.
We had like sort of this creative retreat during the day, and then at night, every night we went out to eat. And trust, I was getting drinks.
That
There
sounds
was
so
bread
nice.
at the table. It was amazing.
Oh my
But-
God.
Habits, right? Habits.
Well, same thing, like went out to eat with Janie. And I mean, this is a conversation that I've had with Paul a number of times. Like I used to work on a show with Paul. Paul used to do a bit about like a joke about like a thing that I told him, like he had put on a little weight and he wasn't feeling great about himself. And I told him, just ask the wardrobe girl to like get you Spanx. Like she's seen it all, And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, just tell her to like get you some Spanx. And he was like, so he did. And then he was like, she had not seen it all.
Oh my God. Why is that just the fucking most insane? Oh my God. I cannot even imagine.
Because we could both see him saying that to her exactly how he did.
Yeah, that's right.
But now there are like Spanx for men, or like we should have just that moment started a line of Spanx for men,
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God.
I'm blasting him out on the streets here, but Scott used that for CBB. Like, it's done.
It's a thing. And by the way, I was saying it because I'd seen a million men be like, oh, that thing that I see ladies squeezing into, get me that,
I did like a really like under 5 reoccurring on Brothers and Sisters. Do you guys remember that show?
Yes, of course.
And I was in the chair next to Calista Flockhart. And that day I learned that she wore Spanx for warmth.
Oh, no.
I am not seeing Busy's Invisalign right now.
Guys, I'm
I
giving
want
a
you
face.
listeners to know that.
My eyes have kind of disappeared because I have like narrowed my eyes and my mouth is closed. I have no thoughts.
Wow. I've seen many a Real Housewife almost pass out because of double Spanx.
Spanx always gave me gas.
Well, of course.
Do you guys
they're
get that?
squeezing the farts
Do you
right
guys
out
get
of
that?
you.
Right, no, but
you're encased. You're like
Yeah,
a
you're
sausage.
like a little
We're like a
sausage.
sausage.
It's
Yeah.
got to go
a bratwurst.
somewhere.
I gave up on like shapewear. Oh my God, wait. But speaking of which, these shorts are really cutting my crotch in a way that's uncomfortable. But I gave up on shapewear under stuff several years ago because I just felt like it was never worth it. Like that it didn't do enough to like make the pain and then the stomach pain and the gas worth it to me. So I like rarely ever go for it anymore. But here's what I do have, which is hard for me, is that I never like post pregnancy, gaining and losing 100 pounds twice. Well, Cricket wasn't 100. Birdie was over 100 pounds that I gained and then lost. Cricket was less than, but still like a lot. Like I think like 75, 80 pounds or something like that. I have like a lot of stomach skin that I've never, like I haven't had surgery or whatever. And so if I am not like aware of it, I will like poof it out and I can look like 5 months pregnant. Not a joke. Like legit. Caissie, do you remember those pictures of me? It was like right before the pandemic, I feel like. And this is like when I was like, my body's never been better. And I was wearing this dress and on the phone and talking about something serious. And I was just like relaxed my stomach and puffed it out. And I literally look like 5 months. It's the craziest. It's an optical illusion. But so sometimes I do think that shapewear stuff is good for me to literally just remind me to not puff my stomach out so that people write in tabloids that I'm 5 months pregnant.
I mean, sometimes men look 5 months pregnant as well. Sometimes. I do
Lots
wear
of times.
Kulap, do you wear shapewear? I feel like it.
I mean, I haven't had the need for about a year, 15, 16 months plus. But yes, I definitely have a drawer.
I wear it, but the thing about it is like I cannot pee through the hole in shapewear. Like psychologically, I can't pee through it because like my body knows that I'm wearing a garment and it like I just can't. My bladder can't pee through that hole.
I'm laughing because I'm remembering a time when I was at some sort of Emmys event and I went to pee and I peed thinking that there was a hole. There was none. And
you just peed right through it.
And I was like, oh, crap. That was not the...
What did you do?
Like, what do I do now? Well, I just sat in my filth. And the thing to do would have been to pull them out and throw them away, but I did need to be held in. And so, you know, I think I did like a round of like for 30 minutes and then just sloshed my way out. Of EP and LP or something like that, you know?
This is like a reason why you always carry a tiny pair of scissors so you could have cut the crotch out, the pee crotch.
You know, and I was doing the whole like, you know, like squatting above, but that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
I personally, because once in high school I peed on my overalls.
Oh, sure.
And you never forget that.
Yeah.
I personally always like make sure that hole is like wide open down there. Like I like hold the sides of it open and then pee through it. That's how I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
on the Spanx, not the hole of my vagina.
Yeah,
not my urethra
I knew that.
hole. Not my or my birthing canal. Not that hole, because no pee comes out of that, guys. In case you don't know. Okay, wait. So this is all very interesting. I'm working on doing my best at lots of things. I'm trying to do my best at like just checking things off the list and like just doing it, just like fucking doing it. And it turns out I can't actually talk about the thing that I want to tell you about. I'll brag about it soon, but it's part of it. That's part of it too. Like just like checking it off, doing things for other people, even if I'm like, it's a little bit of a like eek for me, but I can just do this and it'll be something that will mean something for somebody else. Like just trying to do that. I feel like maybe I kind of always am working on that, but I think I'm doing good at that this week. And I'm trying. Here's a thing this is not what I did my best at, but here's the thing that a discovery I had this week.
What is it?
Well, guys, you know, Kulap, you might not know this about me. Historically speaking, I have been very anti Beatles. Like I've been like, I don't like the Beatles.
I didn't know this. Wow.
Yeah, like I just like, I'm like not a fan. Like it's just not for me. I don't even have like, I don't care about anyone's like feeling. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I had a wild fucking revelation. I'm not like a huge fan of the band, the Beatles, but I'm a huge George Harrison fan. And
I knew you were going to say it.
And every fucking song of the Beatles that I like, George Harrison wrote.
Wow.
And I didn't know that until this weekend because there's a new music documentary called 1971. And because of that, I was like, wait, what? Mind blown. I'm obsessed with George Harrison. It turns out he's my Beatle. And I never knew that. He's like, by the way, the fucking best.
He was a great guy.
Yeah. Well, no, just all around. Like, he was just like, I think now I'm like obsessed with and maybe in love with George Harrison. R.I.P.
You have a dead boyfriend like me.
Aww.
I really came to this realization late. I understand. But better late than never. So
However you get there.
I'm no longer going to say I don't like the Beatles. I'm going to say, you know what? I really love the George Harrison song.
I like
George
this
is my Beatle. I like one Beatle, and his name is George Harrison. And then also that brought me back again to your husband thinking that Ringo Starr's name was Ringo. And I can't, it makes me laugh every time because how did he get through life not knowing that it was Ringo?
That's like, and music is like his area. Like he knows everything, but he knows the most about music.
Right.
And
this is what I'm going to say to you. It makes no sense.
It's wild. And like my poor dad, wherever his molecules are in the universe, must be so upset because my dad was a huge Beatles fan.
Sorry, Caissie's dad.
Sorry, Caissie's dad. He was a huge Beatles fan and he adored my husband, I'm sure. But he was a huge Beatles fan and he was a rock and roll snob. And so for my husband to think that Ringo's name was Ringo up until like a week ago or something, it's wild.
A week ago?
I don't know how it happened. And I just don't know. It's really...
Oh, I love a blind spot like that. That is
really
so good.
It's like, and it's one of those things too where I can tell it's never going to stick that it's Ringo. Like I can tell it's going to keep coming up and like every time he says Ringo, he's going to say Ringo. And then it's just a question of, will I keep reminding? It's like when your kid mispronounces something and it's so cute and funny and you never want to correct them because you want them just to keep saying it that way for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let him say Ringo. Yeah,
Ringo.
I'm just going to let him keep saying Ringo. Koo, do you have a dead boyfriend?
I mean, I guess your dead boyfriend is like my dead uncle because I'm from Minnesota and, being a lover of Prince is just like, it's in the water. It's in the mouth of the Mississippi.
It's required.
My mom had a restaurant in Minneapolis called Diamond Thai because nobody knew about Lao food at the time. And once they shot some of Graffiti Bridge nearby, and he didn't come in, but his brother did because his brother was his double. But in Minnesota, like that, it is, he's just such a huge part of just growing up, and I love him so.
Aww, I love him too. I love Minnesota. I feel very connected to you in that way. I feel like Minnesota is like my third home.
It's a good place to grow up.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Minnesota, and did you also like, what's his name? Paul Westerberg? Isn't that Minnesota too?
He is, but like at the time, that wasn't like the music that I was into.
Right.
I wasn't. Yeah. Like I didn't. First Ave, yes, because of Prince, but because Prince was bigger than anything at the time. I was very much into hip hop and like R&B and like that world.
Great.
Minnesota has such a great overall music scene and such a great art scene. That's one of the reasons why I love the state, is because they pay so much attention to art, music, theater, everything. It's just, it's wonderful to see.
In my high school, the theater got just as much funding as the football team.
Yeah.
And that was a balanced
That's a
way.
dream.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
She's Birdie, and she's keeping you safe. She's Birdie, and she's loud as fuck. Is that good?
Yeah. I mean, it's all true.
It is all true. Birdie is the thing that I purchased when I moved to New York. Didn't get it for free. They're advertising on the podcast. They're advertising on the podcast now, but a friend had told me about it, and I got it because just like things are weird. You never know when you walk out of the house. I don't love, especially like being in a new city. You just don't know. There's a lot of what ifs. What if you feel unsafe? What if you turn a corner and it's, the wrong way to go? What if like you're going to park in garage late at night by yourself? Always the scariest feeling as a woman.
What if
but just as a person
sawing outside your...
I can't help that, Caissie. I can't help that.
It's
and
New
you know
York
what?
City.
It's New York, and it is what it is, and I can't do anything about it. So anyway, what Birdie is, it's a personal safety alarm designed to be very easy to carry. It's very simple to use. When you activate your Birdie with a quick pull, the alarm emits a loud 130 decibel siren and flashing strobe lights, and it helps deter an attack. Listen, is it as loud as the construction next door? We don't know. No, it is. It's louder.
It's
anyway,
way louder.
Unlike pepper sprays or other deterrents, Birdie is not a danger to you. So feel confident to use it without the worry. Birdie goes wherever you go. It's on my keychain. It comes in multiple colors. It has a little brass key ring. You can attach it anywhere, your bag, keys, your little, purse, whatever. Over 300,000 Birdie alarms have been sold, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. So join the flock today for a safer tomorrow. I have one. My kids have them. I feel safe with my kids carrying them because I know they're no harm to themselves, and they can use it if they feel unsafe. Right now, She's Birdie is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase when you go to shesbirdie.com/best. Go to She's Birdie, spelled SHESBIRDIE.com/best for 15% off your first purchase. That's shesbirdie.com/best. Listen, guys, everybody needs an escape. I don't know. I just like... There's this service, an audio app. It's called Dipsea. And you put your little headphones in and you can get lost in a world where good things happen and where pleasure is your only priority. Listen, spring is sprung. Now it's your turn. Bring the warmth of the outside world back into the bedroom with Dipsea. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story for that. Dipsea is an audio app. It has these like short, sexy stories. They are designed to turn you on. Every Dipsea audio story features characters that feel like real people, immersive scenarios. You feel like you're right there. Listen to stories about hooking up with your hometown crush. What? The coworker you always had a thing for? Why not? Maybe a story that puts you in bed with someone who's telling you exactly what they'd like to do to you. They release new content every week. There's always more to explore, no matter who you're into or what turns you on. And if you need to wind down, Dipsea also has wellness sessions, sensual bedtime stories, and soundscapes that help you relax before you fall asleep. So for listeners of our show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/best. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/best. dipsystories.com/best. dipsystories.com/best. Oh, you know what I kind of wanted to talk about, but I didn't know if we should.
What?
I want to hear.
Sometimes we like to get into like who's doing their best in the world, who's not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And again, I just saw this on your little thing that the Ben and J-Lo making out in public and were papped is exactly the same angle as the video, which is bonkers. Caissie, you might just be like, are you just creating this, like making this happen? Are you witching this? As opposed to them
witching it?
Yes, as opposed to them this being a plan and them like doing a thing where they're putting together, the Jenny from the Block 20-year anniversary video, but modern day version.
Right.
Did you put it into the game? And now it's just happening because you have set it in motion. That's my question.
That's a good question. Or maybe Ben listens to the podcast and he's steering it that
Big
way.
fan. I think he's a big fan. Yeah.
Maybe he knows that we're a big fan, so he's a big fan.
I don't think so. That's never been my experience with him, but okay.
But
okay.
Or is it muscle memory? Is that just the way that they go? Do they just automatically like go into the Jenny from the Block video movements?
They're together. They're like riding a bike.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just like it just happens. But I will say that it's the exact same angle, the exact same like head movements.
Weird.
It was very public and very obvious, and it was recorded by a paparazzi, which also was like the way that it was recorded in the Jenny from the Block video 20 years ago. So if we see him
weird
kissing her bum on a yacht, that's the last cherry that we need to get the slot machine to pour out coins.
Okay. Is this a thing where just like there's no more new things? We're just, we are just living our greatest hits.
Did you guys
every day?
You guys have watched the Bo Burnham special, yeah?
Not yet.
Yes.
I know I need to.
You haven't?
I know it's amazing.
It is. It's fucking great. I really, really, really highly recommend it. I already have on this podcast, so I won't go too far into it. But in one of the songs, it was like, you say the world is ending, honey, it already did. Like, it does feel like that is the thing that like we all keep coming up against over and over and over again since like the year 2000. It's just like, what the fuck is happening? We're like on a system reboot that just gets weirder and weirder and weirder, but shit just keeps happening in the same. It feels like a weird circle. I don't know what's happening.
Like a Mobius strip, like the infinity. Like we're just on this sort of, treadmill.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I didn't know if we should talk about. We don't have to. We can also just like cut this part out if you want. Did you guys read the Yashar Ali article?
Yes.
Yes.
I am mentioned in the article, but they spell my name wrong, which is my biggest pet peeve of all time.
Your last name?
My last name.
Yes.
It's like, fucking guys, why can't, you're a publication, why can't you fucking spell my last name right?
Yeah.
That's what I took away from the article. But
strong take, Busy. Strong
guys,
take.
a strong take coming in from me. But it is like sort of, all of it was really interesting to me because I have known Yashar. We talk about internet friends.
Yeah.
Talk about like people that you meet online. And like, I do think that he is like a quintessential internet friend, and like he like managed to sort of befriend a bunch of different types of like celebrities and newsmakers and news reporters, and like he is obviously very savvy and smart and all of those things, and so he was able to integrate himself into all of these different worlds. I feel a little bit like the stuff with the like him taking advantage of these other people to me, and maybe this is a bad take. I don't fucking know. I don't like, because I have been friendly with him, but I've never like, he's never been to my house. Like, I don't know. We're just like online friends. And he's always been super nice to me. And like the information he's always had and given me, like, was always right and always was like very useful information. But anyway, I feel like I don't know that other lady, the like billionaire lady in San Francisco, obviously, but like I feel like he did so much for Kathy Griffin in terms of like rehabbing her career. It's a little bit like, I don't know. So you let him stay with you? So what? Like I've let people live with me for literally decades. Do you know what I mean? And they've like, and when I tell you they've done nothing for me, Sam Pancake, I fucking love you, but like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
yeah, I read it.
He got fully, he was main character on the internet and like fully being dragged online.
Yes.
But I just a little bit was like, well, I don't know.
I felt like the article didn't say a lot.
It didn't.
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
And so I was like, I don't know anything more about him. But
Correct.
what I was like, I have met him in person, so I know that he's a real person. And I know that he has like connected me with people in the past when I've needed help, like reaching someone in the past for something, which I'm very grateful for. And he's been really nice to me. I haven't been able to like ever do anything for him. So I don't like feel like he was ever using me for anything. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about, it seemed like there was an exchange of services maybe with Kathy Griffin. He was grocery shopping for her as well as like helping her with some professional things. So I don't know. The truth is like, I don't know. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like, to be honest, it reminded me of just like, you know, family in a way. And it's what it sounds like is two adults in a relationship.
Yeah.
That, you know, and how, if that evolved into where someone, you know, it didn't pan out, you know, rules change, that happens, you know?
For sure. And like people, and that's the other thing, like it just, I don't know, like it felt like it was just interesting to me that like I saw it trending for like 24 hours and I was like, this feels like such a non-thing to me. And I know him personally, or not personally, but well, I mean, I've met him in person, but like, I know I have a relationship with him, but I was just like, what? I don't get it. What's the fucking takedown? Like, how is anything that he's like ever said or posted or put out there incorrect? And like, it did seem weird to me, guys, that like he goes so fucking hard after the side ties, and then all of a sudden there was like this like, I don't know. That seemed weird to me.
Well, I mean, it definitely felt like you're just like, for me, who, you know, I have no need to discredit him. I don't know him. I know of him. It really does feel like, as you said, like a nothing, but it definitely works as the negative way PR works, to file his teeth down a little bit, to put Invisalign on him.
Oh, cool. That's interesting. That feels aggressive toward me.
Busy. I'm just trying to. I love to bring things together.
Okay. Well,
tying it up.
I don't know. Like, I just like, you know, it's not the first time someone I know has been the main character on Twitter.
Man.
It's not going to be the last. And I'm always sort of in a constant state of like, yeah, right? Cool. You get it. Where you're like in this constant state of like, oh boy, okay, well, what do I do here? Well, I'm not chiming in, but like also just, like, God.
To explain it, like to have to like explain or defend a relationship with literally everyone you know, like it comes up a lot. I'm just saying, it comes up a lot.
It does.
Yeah. And I'm sure we've all been in the situation. I know we have all been in the situation where someone we know has been the main character on Twitter. And then we've been put in the position to be like, yes, explain your friendship with this person. And I'm like, I don't know the person that you're talking about. I wasn't privy to what you're talking about. So I can't speak to that. I can only speak to what I'm familiar with. And this is my experience with that person. But like, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm open to hearing all that. But also, like, this is just my experience. So all I can say is like, I don't know.
But it's hard. But a lot of times people are unwilling to accept or to take an I didn't know.
Yeah.
They feel as though I didn't know is a cop out.
Right.
And obviously it's like dependent on whatever. There's lots of different factors, right? In these sorts of things.
This messy time.
The messy time that we live in. But like, I do, it is tricky to like that thing of like asking people to hold many things at once is very hard in this moment. Like people are unwilling to do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
I also just wish sometimes that people could be like, I'm just probably never gonna like this person, and I don't have to have like a list of reasons why. And so I'm just probably never gonna be on board with this person, and that's just it. And like, I don't have to go on like a hunting expedition to like try to take them down. It just
You know. Yes. And I know it's connected to people feeling like, this is like a viable way to enact justice.
Yeah.
And when we think of things like the Spring Awakening and George Floyd, and it is, but like talking about the nuances of relationships, of a life, it's so hard to just like truncate, have a truncation of a person, at whom people are different to other people. I mean, this is so complicated, guys. I don't want to,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not trying to like. But we're the sum of everything that we've ever done, and there is room for growth. There has got to be room for growth and for change, and for redemption. But that said, I know for you personally, if you personally, dear listener, choose not to like a person, man, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's really okay. That's really okay. But I don't know, this desire to ruin, it's tough. It's tough. It's complicated. It's too complicated.
It's super complicated because there are people that I 100% don't like. And, but I'm also crushed by the idea that they don't like me.
Someplace else. Well, that was highly relatable, by the way.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck do I think is happening in this world? You know? And I'm just like, I mean, that's really a new, that's
I want to be invited. Yeah. I might not go, but
what are we talking about? You guys, I'm on my phone because my internet just went out, like totally out.
That's terrible.
Oh, no.
Maybe that guy sawed through it.
What guy?
The guy sawing next door. I was saying that it's, all of this stuff is so complicated because there are definitely people that I do not like. And yet I am crushed by the idea that they don't like me,
Oh, fuck. Well, yeah.
And so it's just, it's a mind fuck. And just, Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the internet definitely exacerbates everything because it gives so much power to these people that, you know, people see as like one dimensional and like we are only seeing like one dimension of them. And then some of us are seeing other dimensions to them, but none of us are seeing like the whole person unless you're truly, truly, truly in their lives. Like I have an idea of who your husband Scott is. I've met him and gotten to hang out with him a couple of times, but like I certainly don't know him as you know him. You know what I mean? Like I just have my idea of Scott from what I do know of him, you know? And so if anyone asked me, I'd be able to paint like some type of picture, but I'm not painting the same picture that Kulap is painting of Scott, you know?
Well, I mean, how messed up would that be if like we just like, bam, let me like, let's right now share screen. Here's somebody. Let's say what we think they are. Like that is so horrifying to me.
Yeah. Right, but that's what everybody does, right?
I know. Yes.
Well, it also like goes the other way too. Like I get a lot of like people being like, you're so nice. And I'm like, actually it's, you know, I'm not that nice. I can be like a real twat sometimes, you know, like, and I am so sorry for the day when you realize that, like if you're hanging any type of like, anything on me being the nicest person, because there's going to be a time when I'm going to be like a real bitch and really surprise you. And like, I'm not saying like, I don't just go off and like act like a bitch for no reason, in my opinion. Like it's usually justified, but like, you know, that's a lot to put on. I'm not a one-dimensional person. I'm not just going around like being Polly Sunshine for, you know, because that's who I am. Like there are facets to who I am. And sometimes like, I will throw an elbow because like.
Good. Yes. Love that.
You know, yeah.
That's a good hit.
So, you know.
Strong bone.
So, you know, I just feel like I've been feeling, it's an interesting conversation because I feel like this week the internet has been particularly not nuanced and it's a lot. And it seems like it's like torrents of a lot of upsetness about a lot. Maybe it's Mercury retrograde. Going direct soon.
We are inside of that right now for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why Busy's internet was messed up.
Just
Mercury
went out.
rules like communication technology.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some of the worst communication this week with people that I know so well that it's like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Unfortunately, when you have friends or people that like you love in your life who don't buy into Mercury and retrograde, you're sort of fucked.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then they're like, because I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. Like this is truly, I really think. And it's like, you can't blame a planet for your whatever. And I was like, well, can't.
But what about the planet's transition? Its path across the universe.
I mean, what about that? Hold on.
What
let me see
about
my internet's
that?
back. I just feel like, ooh, here she is. She's back. I'm going to leave this one and go back to my computer.
All right. Do it. Oh, she got back really fast.
But that article, it was salacious. It had tidbits. It had insight into a job or a way of being that nobody is not familiar in the sense of what Yashar does, plus being amongst the rich and wealthy. So
rich
it had
and famous,
all of the shareable things in that article without, as you guys are pointing out, maybe a lot of substance.
Not a lot of smoking guns and bombshells and
But what was so funny is that like I feel like people were like, all the bombshells, all the smoking guns. And I'm like, what? Huh? What? Huh? What are we? Huh? Okay. All right, guys. Okay. I don't know. Well, should we get to our guests?
We should. We love those ladies.
Oh my God. Aren't they a fucking dream? Aren't they just such a dream? And I believe one of them, no. No, that was on Instagram or Twitter or something. Somebody said exactly the thing that my mom has been saying about you. Caissie, remember?
Oh, yeah. Somebody said I was nice or some shit.
It's not nice. No, stop. That's not what it is. It's more like that you're just like, you're a wealth of knowledge and life experience and just all things that are true. But my mom has like really been,
Somebody said that about me on Twitter, Kulap, and Busy was like, accused that person of being her mom in disguise.
I've been called nice too, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Go ahead, think that.
Busy's mom has been giving me props lately, but I can tell you, your mom is so nice to me, and I really appreciate it. And it's nice to have. I come from New England, where all moms are usually just kind of low-key hostile to anyone else's children. So, so it's nice to have a mom be nice.
My mom is so nice.
Yeah.
To so many people.
Yeah. She is. It's nice.
Okay.
I think it's a good mission to be kind. Yeah. I think that's I value that for sure.
I value it as well. Okay, guys, here we go. I'm back. Let's hope it all works. We were very lucky. Do you know Kate Spencer and Doree Shafrir?
I do. Big fans.
Shafrir. Shafrir. Right. Okay. Kate Spencer and Doree Shafrir. We love the Forever 35 podcast, and Doree has a new book out. There's lots of books happening.
Lots of books.
I think there are lots of books. It's called, Thanks for Waiting. What's it called?
Thanks for Waiting.
Yeah, thanks for. Oh my God, I got it right. I read it. It's great. We love her. We love them. Kate also has a book that's a few years old too, but you could get that. Kulap, do you have a book?
I don't have a book.
You will.
You should. You will.
Oh boy, I don't know. Maybe.
You will.
Maybe.
You will. You will. It's hard though. I mean, I don't know. I don't wish it on anyone, but it was also great. It was great, but it's hard.
You did it. You did it.
I did
That's
it.
awesome.
It's done.
I think it's a massive accomplishment, and it ain't easy.
Thank you. I didn't know that some people don't write their own books. Kulap.
You're like, if that was an option.
Didn't know that was an option. Didn't know. No one told me. It's fine. I'm glad I did it myself. I wanted to do it myself. I probably would have taken that option, the other option, but it's better this way. But anyway, both of our guests joining us have written books, Kate Spencer and Doree Shafrir, and we had a lovely time chatting with them, and we could have talked for 17 more hours.
So fun. Take a listen.
Hey guys, listen, when it comes to paying off debt, obviously, sometimes you're like, it feels overwhelming. It feels like an uphill battle. There's high interest rates resulting in minimum monthly payments that keep you in endless cycles of debt. And that is where Upstart comes in and can help you get ahead. If you're carrying a credit card balance month after month, you're not the only one. High interest rates make it very hard to pay off the debt, but Upstart can help. Join thousands of happy borrowers who made that final payment. It's the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Unlike other lenders, Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, looks at your income and your employment history, and that means that they can offer smarter rates with trusted partners. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. And you can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting the loan. So find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/best. That's upstart.com/best. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you, please. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/best. You guys, your podcast is very successful, Forever 35.
It's been a strange journey, but we've done it. Yeah. I guess, who knows what does successful mean, especially in the podcasting space.
Well, but Kate, that's my question literally every week. I'm like, hey guys, is anyone listening? What is this?
We had Anne Lamott, the author, on the other week.
Amazing.
She was like, so, is this popular? I was like,
I don't know.
We don't know.
I was like, it's not number one on iTunes. So, if that's what you're interested in.
No, it's not even number 100 on iTunes.
I didn't even know how to respond. But I kind of respected that she just went there.
Now I feel like it's a bit because Busy will be like, is anyone listening? Or we don't know.
Why are we even fucking
doing this? Or please download this podcast so we can keep doing it. And then at this point, it's a bit. But then we get a million emails being like, please don't stop doing the podcast.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of people listening.
So then it makes me feel like the answer to that question is this podcast is very popular with the people that it's popular with.
Ooh,
that's the answer.
Good answer.
But isn't that just the thing about life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the thing about everything.
It's the thing about everything.
It's probably the secret to what we've all been trying to do our entire lives. Please just enjoy the people that are enjoying what you're trying to do.
Yeah. It's so hard not to feel like you have to strive for the thing. I don't even know what the thing is, the measurement or the barometer, but yeah, it's very confusing as a creative person who likes to make stuff, right? That's the umbrella we are all under. And it's you can't not make it, but then there's also tools that measure its success that are bullshit, guys.
And tools that haven't and tools that haven't been updated in decades, and tools that were all calibrated based on one specific white man in his late 40s desires and what so it's just okay, I don't know. We had this issue, obviously. We had this issue with our RIP, Busy Tonight talk show. It was fine. We're just still grieving it.
Yeah.
2 years later.
I would imagine that would be a grief that is always there.
I don't know. I think for some people, it's I don't know. I think for Caissie and I, part of the thorn of it is feeling as though we didn't get credit for what we actually were able to do and accomplish.
Yeah.
And it's been sort of oh yeah, that thing. Sloughed off by a lot of Caissie should have been, now I'm just going to get mad and emotional, but Caissie should have been on every, on lists to go run anyone else's show that anyone else who was getting shots in the last year and a half. Caissie should have been at the top of everyone's list for show running. And, it hasn't exactly been her experience.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Well, it's fucking unfair. It's stupid and it's unfair because you're literally the best at your job. We're not, this isn't a podcast where we're interviewing Caissie. We're interviewing Kate Spencer
and Doree Shafrir.
But I we can't help but interview because that's ingrained in our podcast brains. So it's scary to be
They are the
interviewed.
hosts. It's going to be very interesting because they're the hosts of the very popular podcast Forever 35. It's
You guys,
popular.
if you don't know Forever, it is so popular. Forever 35, as far as like I like in my head, I was like, it's see, I don't even know his name. I was gonna say, who's the guy? Joe Rogan.
Ugh.
It's Joe Rogan, and then Forever 35.
Yeah,
That's right.
Maybe
like,
the office ladies, and Forever 35.
Oh, office
Yeah.
ladies have squeaked in there. They're
really, they're like office ladies are meteoric and like they deserve it. They're the best. But like, I think when we started a podcast, we were like, you know, aspire to be like if we can be like the Forever 35 girls,
No.
great. Yeah, for real.
No.
Caissie.
Yeah. But yeah, so this will
God.
be an interesting experiment because you all are usually
Yes.
you're usually running the podcast show, but now you're here to be interviewed. And so it'll be like an interesting détente, a standoff
A duel.
We'll like throw every question back at you.
where we are trying to interview you. And
What's your pivot, Caissie? Huh?
Caisie's pivot was when I forced her to move to Los Angeles, and then after our show got canceled, I was like, "Bye, see ya."
You had your pivot.
I'm moving back to New York.
I knew the risks.
I mean, we never know the risks. Let's be real. But ladies, thank you so much for doing this and taking the other seat.
Oh my
It's a
gosh. Real
gosh.
honor. It's truly a real thrill.
The hot seat.
The hot seat, as it were. See, okay. Wait, first of all, let's talk about the. You guys are both writers.
Yes.
Yes.
You both have been on a podcast journey for a long time. Doree, you have another podcast with your husband. You guys still do that one.
We still do it. Yeah, it's still going for some reason.
Is your other podcast jealous about how popular Forever 35 is in our
I
minds?
think the co-host of my other podcast, who is my husband, he sees the success of Forever 35 and he's kind of like, wait a second.
Good.
And I'm like, look, you're not Kate Spencer.
That's right. No one's got this charm but me.
So when did you guys start Forever 35?
I texted Doree in a panic in late 2017 when, you know, we were all kind of crumbling. And I was just like, do you want to start our podcast about skincare? And she said yes. And then I was like, and we'll talk about a linen pants. And she was like, yes, of course. And it was just, I think, it was just like respite from the rest of the world. And just, we wanted to talk about some of the shit we talked about in our group chats, our group texts.
Well, that's a big theme here is the group chat.
I mean,
We love a group chat.
that's like where the most intimate conversations take place, in the group chat.
For sure.
So we didn't think anyone, I don't know if we thought people would listen. I didn't. I just was yammering. I feel like Doree has more of a vision for things, like a business mind. You don't agree, Doree? You don't think that about yourself?
I don't know. I think it was just like, we didn't know because at the time, there were not many podcasts that we felt were really like speaking to us. Like your podcast didn't exist.
Yeah.
No, it did not.
There
Because
were
I was like, what are podcasts?
right, there were a ton of podcasts that were kind of targeting like women in their like, let's say late 30s.
No, I literally was like,
40s.
it's Paul F. Tompkins and that's funny and I like it, but it's not for me.
Yeah. And it still felt very, very male. And we launched in January 2018. And it kind of resonated, I think, pretty quickly, because I think it turned out that, in fact, there were a lot of people like us who were like, oh, wait, no one is making a podcast for me. And this kind of speaks to me.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and like one thing that I love and appreciate so much about it, as someone who's not a podcast bitch, but has listened a bit.
I mean, you might be now, though. You're a podcaster.
It's growing on ya. It's growing on ya.
They're growing on me, guys. But if I'm being honest, no, I'm kidding. I just like, I get, but I do love having these conversations about like self-care, skincare, also pivoting into things that are happening in your life. Like all of the stuff that we have to like constantly juggle, and that's like was always Caissie and my conversation about like that's what we felt like was missing on television, still is, I think. And you guys saw that space in the pod world and were like, we're going to do this. And that's why it's so successful.
Well, you know what's so funny to me is what I've been noticing recently, and is that it's so funny to me that podcasting was such a male-dominated space for so long, because women have traditionally been the ultimate multitaskers. And podcasting is such a perfect form for the multitasker to put on and do something else while you're enjoying a podcast. So it's so strange to me that it took so, but now I'm like, it's so funny to me that we get so many emails from listeners who are like, oh yeah, I put on your podcast and like I wheel my baby around while I'm like weeding my garden and also, you know, building a brick wall in my yard, or just like women are doing 5 different things while they're listening to the podcast. And so, you know, I feel very fortunate.
And I was very surprised that like millennial or younger women than us ladies, that they all listen to it on like time and a half.
Oh my God.
Or double
yes.
like
That
what
is a
the
thing.
fuck?
That is
What are they doing?
When I still worked for BuzzFeed, I wrote an article about people who listen to podcasts at like 2x speed. And there's like a whole world of people out there that do this. And I think a lot of them are like completists. Like they want to listen to everything.
Yeah.
And if they get into a podcast, like when a year in, they want to listen to that whole back catalog and they're going to do it at 2x. It's bananas.
But like, are their brains just wired differently at this point? Those kids, they must be.
I think so, actually. Yeah,
I
do.
think I think when you start listening really fast, then yes, your brain like adapts to it. But
I listen to certain things at 2x or 1.5.
What?
Yeah,
2?
It's because from years of working in television and scrubbing through video.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
At 1.5 and 2x to find.
Okay, fine, you're forgiven.
Yeah,
You can do it, Caissie, but I like that. My brain could not follow along.
it's the same as like, you know how when you start watching like an English TV show and at first you're like, I don't know what's going on, I have to put the subtitles on, but by the end you're like, oh, I get it, I kind of get it. Like you get used to the way.
I thought that was going to happen to me with Call My Agent in French. I was like, by the end, I will be able to understand everything.
But it didn't work out.
It didn't really work out that way. No.
The other thing I did like that resonates with me, and I DM'd Caissie yesterday and gone on a tiny soapbox about it, but I've heard you two say on your podcast that like people do not understand the length of your show, and that you go into meetings and they're like, it should be an hour. And what kind of drives me nuts about the space is like, actually 3 hours is great for a podcast. Like I'm coming to your show for conversation and comfort. And by the end, I feel like I'm like hanging out. And that's what feedback we get a lot. And I feel like in the kind of male dominated space of podcasting, that is not understood.
No.
And so it's very,
Well, it is
Guys,
like there are a lot of men who have podcasts that are like 2-3 hours long.
Isn't Joe Rogan's?
Yes.
Yeah.
They go on for
And
hours.
You guys, Howard Stern, like that is a fucking podcast.
You're right. I know he doesn't want to admit it, but it is.
I think it's just that they don't want to hear women talking for 2 to 3 hours.
Here we go,
no.
Doree. Here we go.
Here we
Doree.
go. Does anyone say to like the Yankees, like, oh, you should make these games shorter? Ugh.
Well, I've often said that about baseball.
You guys got to shorten up these games to like 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Nobody wants to watch this shit for 3
Can I be
hours.
real though? You know what? You know why I did used to like going to Coachella? I like really did like a festival concert experience, because that's the set that I want to stand and watch music for. I want like a 30-minute set of just the hits, and then I want to get the fuck out. Like I can't watch a band for 2 hours. Even like my favorite band in the world, I'm just like, no, I'm out. I want 30-minute sets of music, live music, but I love it. But I can't stay too long. Anyway, that's another story. So guys, was doing the podcast, Kate, like your pivot? Was that you were like, I gotta fucking do something, and Doree knows how to do this, and we're gonna do this?
You know, possibly. I mean, I can pinpoint in considering the concept of the pivot. I think my biggest one was dealing with grief when my mom died. But I do think, yes, it was a little, because it was an unexpected pivot. It was just like, let's do this for fun and make this podcast about the things we want to talk about and not worry about it being successful and not really censoring ourselves or caring if, we spend, look, this is my platform specifically that I like to talk about butts, but we talk about butt care like constantly on our show.
Oh my God, Kate, I didn't tell you.
What?
We did a live happy hour thing the other day to promote my book for Forever 35 fans. And I was talking to my mom yesterday and she was like, and she doesn't listen to the podcast consistently, but she came to the happy hour and she was like, there was a lot of talk of butts. And I was like, Mom,
it's
yeah.
fucking important.
We talk about butts, okay?
But like nobody had ever I'd never heard that stuff. So we just talked and I think we were kind of forced into a pivot in a lot of ways because people responded and so we kept going. And like into the podcast a few months in, Doree left BuzzFeed and it became a real full-time focus for both of us. And now we do like 3 episodes a week and we're 3.5 years in and it is a real full-time job. It's half of the work we each do. So it kind of became a pivot because it got bigger than I think either of us thought. I did not expect to be a podcaster. That's not really but I love it. It makes logical sense for the things I like to do, which is talk too much about really personal things. But that's things that people experience. Like that it's gratifying to not feel alone. And I do think we've both discovered a lot about ourselves in having these conversations, not just with each other and our guests, but with the listeners. Mm-hmm. I do feel like our listeners diagnosed me with ADHD, which was really helpful. So,
Wait, ADHD?
Yes.
They diagnosed you?
Well, no, my psychiatrist and my therapist were like, hey, but
also I had been tested and yes, I did have it.
Look, I have an official diagnosis, but there'll be times when I talk about like overwhelm or something I'm feeling and we will get these emails. It's like, Kate, adult ADHD. I really think you need to look into this. And that, I do think that, I don't know, Doree, if you agree, but I do think that helped a lot.
Did you get medicine? Do you take medicine now?
No, because it's added to the list of my OCD and my generalized anxiety disorder. So I'm already on Prozac and Wellbutrin. So I haven't, this is very in the weeds, but I'm supposed to go to Manhattan Beach and do like 2 days of testing at some center. Mm-hmm. But I can't drink coffee before, so I haven't made the appointment. So so the short answer is no. No, I don't. But
so how much caffeine are you drinking?
Am I self-medicating with?
Yeah,
a lot, like 2 to 3 cups. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So before I started taking ADHD medicine, I would drink 2 of the extra large Starbucks a day, like the big ones. It was like more caffeine than than you would give like a horse. Like it was like so much caffeine. I don't know if you would ever give a horse caffeine. It was a horse's dose of caffeine.
Some people would. Some people
might.
I was self-medicating in such an insane way. And I also like had like a weird thing about ADD drugs because you just think about like how many people, honestly, I just connected it to like Lindsay Lohan's Spiral. Like, I swear to God, that was like my whole thing. I was like, well, I can't take Adderall because that's like what all those girls did. And they were so skinny and then they all went crazy. And I think that if you don't actually have ADHD that could happen. But if you do, you don't have to drink coffee anymore. And you just feel, I drink like 1 cup of coffee in the morning and then I just feel normal.
Did the medication help you? Like, was it a immediate relief?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I got to get this dealt with.
The other thing that I want to tell you that the medicine did for me was that this low level of depression and sinking feeling and low self-esteem that had been consistent in my entire life fucking went away.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Like that
makes me want to cry.
like a thing in my brain that was always like, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. If I take my fucking ADHD pill, is gone.
That's amazing. I've never heard anyone say that. That's amazing.
And I didn't understand quite, but now it totally makes sense. And my psychiatrist was like, well, of course, because you're smart enough to know that your brain is not able, your executive functions aren't able to like fire in the way that they're supposed to. And so you're constantly feeling bad about yourself.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this was a conversation we just had, was the shame spiral that comes when your executive function fails, but you can understand what's happening, but you can't stop it from happening. So
you can't fix it.
Yeah. That's the self-esteem part of it has been challenging because it's there your whole life. And I think what learning about this more and more, especially this past year as an adult, it then has caused me to go back through my entire life and look at every freaking moment that involved a lot of like shame and realize that it's connected to this, and feeling then also like rage that it just was like unchecked and unchecked and unchecked.
Well, and that's the thing with girls too. It's misdiagnosed. Neurodiversity is just very, very much misdiagnosed in girls and women, and missed. And like, you know, and we're told that we're like just sad.
Yeah. Which I do feel sad often.
Yeah, me too. But you can also not feel like you're a terrible person, or that you're like a fucking idiot all the time.
That is really freeing.
Because you're not. You know,
I don't
obviously.
think so. Yeah,
no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
You're definitely not.
I'm pretty sure you're not.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Anyway, I highly recommend it. I'm just going to tell you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Seriously, because it's that hearing you speak about that part of it, feeling better, sounds like a gift, honestly.
It is. And Mark can always tell if I have forgotten to take, well, now I have the pill thing, so I never forget. But
the best.
He could always tell, because I would make it through the day and I would just be like, and he'd be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, it's fucking nothing. I just suck. Like, I just fucking, nothing. I just feel like shit. I just fucking can't stand my body. I can't stand myself. Like, I would just go into this thing, and then he'd be like, did you take your pill? Like, no, fuck. It like that changes my brain. I know. And everybody like,
amazing.
And I went to, I've been in therapy my whole life, and people were always like, you have like low level depression and, low self-esteem and da 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 da. It was my fucking ADD the whole time.
Well, yeah. I mean, depression is also like comorbid with ADD and ADHD. So, which I know all too well because of my family. But when you are ready to ramp up to go to your place where you have to go in Manhattan Beach, then tell me and I'll text you every morning and cheer you on to not drink
You're
coffee.
So sweet. You're so nice. Yeah, you can't drink the coffee because then it like interferes with the testing, and you
tell
get
me. I'll come slap
result.
a coffee out of your hand. I'll put my mask on and punch a coffee down
we're
to
both
the ground.
Vaccinated. You can punch it without a mask. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not trying to like challenge the medical establishment, but I'm just confused why you need to go through this testing.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. My doctor would just like gave me pills.
Yeah, same with my husband.
I don't know if you want me to give you my psychiatrist's information and call her for me and just be like, just give her the fucking meds. I will do so, Doree. I'll be like, listen, my work wife knows my shit.
I don't know. I don't mean to like, question it. I just feel like you should.
I'm guessing maybe she wants to
relief.
get a baseline on you and to figure out, because everything's so entangled. Maybe it's that like, do you need this one thing? Do you need these two things? Do you actually need these three things? Maybe can something else go? What needs to stay?
This is why I'm not a doctor. I mean,
I'm not a doctor either, but my guess is she probably just doesn't want to put you on 15 things if you only need 12.
Okay, well, I'll take as many as she tells me.
All right. Caissie's smart, guys. This is why
she is smart. I know.
I've aligned myself. And Doree, your first book was novel.
It was, yes.
It was a novel called Startup.
Yes.
But your memoir just came out.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys so
Thanks for Waiting is the name of your memoir about being a late bloomer.
Yes. It is.
Well, Doree, it's so weird. I mean, like, for those of you who don't know, like I've been working in TV and media all these years. So I feel like Doree has been one of those people that I've worked, I was going to say in and around, but that's disgusting. I've not worked in you, Doree.
No,
but I've been aware and around you for many years because like you're just one of those people that I've always known. You were in New York during the time I was in New York, and so you're just one of those names that I always heard around. So you were at the Observer, and a fella named Jared Kushner was your boss, and then
Yikes.
You were.
Was he see-through in person?
He looked plastic in
Did he
person.
look like a fancy candle?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way of describing it. But, I think this was, more than 10 years ago, and I don't think he had as much work done to his face quite yet. So it was a little more mobile, if you will. Yeah, and Caissie, I edited and published an essay by your husband.
Yes, yeah. I know.
It's really wonderful essay.
Thank you. Well, I say thank you as if I wrote it, but I did not write it. But yeah, well, you're younger than I am. But like, yes, everybody who dreamed of being a writer and like lived in New York and just, it really was like kind of a small world. So just all of these, it's like Gossip Girl was real life, and like all of these names and everybody writing like these freelance pieces, and you worked at Rolling Stone, and and you lived through all of the, when people are like, oh, print media is dying. You lived through all of that shit, and then you lived through like the rise of Gawker, which is something that Busy and I talk about all the time.
We talk about
how we're like nostalgic, not necessarily for the tone of Gawker, but for the urgency of feeling like Gawker was a thing that we kept open on our desktops all day long and checked multiple times per day to see what was happening, and then you were at BuzzFeed, which same thing, kept BuzzFeed open all day long and checked multiple times per day. So that's like Doree's background, and just like, so she's this wonderful writer and editor and media person and personality, and now has this podcast, but also like writes these books. So you're like, the queen of pivots yourself.
It is weird being on the other side, let me tell you.
Do you not like it?
Listening to you kind of like go through my resume like that, and I'm like thinking about every place that I worked and how I think so many of them, and I'm sure this is true for so many people in so many workplaces, but like, I'm sure from the outside, it looked very glamorous and, cool and exciting. And as I talk about in my book, like a lot of times things like weren't so glamorous, and I was I was really struggling. But yeah, I think media is a really challenging space, especially as a woman. And, I'm happy to be in a place now where I don't have to deal with a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing about media is that like a lot of times it isn't glamorous. It's very gritty and like just basic. And you're like, if people knew this is the way that it is, it's just like, very scrappy and DIY
and not well paid also.
And not well paid. And you're just like, it's not glamorous at all. And then other times it's super glamorous and like you can't believe it. And then you're like, you start to look at it and you're like, wait a minute, why is this glamorous? And it actually shouldn't be glamorous. And the bottom is going to fall out of this real quick.
Totally.
And like, you're like, am I the only person doing this math? And then you're like,
yes.
If you're smart enough to be thinking that far ahead, and then everybody calls you a pessimist, but you're always right when you.
Yeah. I mean, at BuzzFeed, especially, I felt very Chicken Little. Like, I always felt like the sky was going to fall, but that was partly because, by the time I worked at BuzzFeed, I started there in my mid 30s, and I had like seen the boom and bust cycle of media happen several times. And I knew that anytime you started to work at a new media company that was throwing a lot of money at people and hiring a ton of people, like, it was not going to last. Like, I'd seen it happen many times.
Can I just ask you a question? Like,
yes.
Why do you think everyone thinks they're going to be different?
Busy. This is the eternal question of life, right? Like, isn't insanity? Isn't it like doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results?
Yes,
oh yeah, exactly.
Right. Yes.
Right. And
yes.
And yet, especially like you see all these billionaires all the time, like buying up media properties, thinking like, well, no one else has been able to figure this out for decades, but I'm going to be the one to like invest in this newspaper, and then it will be profitable and popular, and like I'll be the savior, and like it never works out that way.
No.
So, I don't know. I do think that there is like some social cachet for these people who, start media companies, and they want that. I mean, I think that was for Jared Kushner, for his family, for sure. Like, his father was a convicted felon, and they wanted to kind of like launder their reputation. So they were like, okay, we'll buy the New York Observer and like, do that.
Wow.
But like the Observer always lost money. That was just its thing. So to answer your question, I don't know why people always think they are going to be the ones to figure it out, because very few people have, unfortunately.
It's always wild. For me, I love furniture, and I just, it's a thing. I will know usually where a piece of furniture is from and how much it costs, usually, if it's the type of furniture I'm interested in. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked into an open plan new place where I'm about to work and been like, it's a sea of $1,500 chairs, $2,000 credenzas, and $700 lamps. And I'm like, oh shit, this is going down in 2 months.
Yeah.
Like,
guys, and that's why at Busy Tonight, I did the West Elm floor sample. And I was like, and this is going to be good enough for everybody. And we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
we bought our own furniture there. Like,
we bought
everybody.
our own fucking furniture.
Wow.
Everybody. There were no bulk furniture purchases at Busy Tonight. But yeah, it's such a vanity thing.
It's so weird.
Like, there are thousands of people who actually like have to work for a living, who are like at the whims of these people who are doing this as a vanity project. It's like kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And people always talk about, the like bubbles, like, it's like the .com bubble, this bubble, that bubble. And I'm like, well, you know what it takes to make a bubble is someone like blowing it up for a really long time and putting a lot of air into it before, woo. But anyway, your memoir, Thanks for Waiting. Do you feel like this is a pivot for you?
I do. I feel like it's kind of the culmination of a lot of things because, I think when I was younger, I felt very private, but I think that was because I was so insecure and afraid that if I like put myself out there, that people were going to like make fun of me or reject me. And
a lot of memoirs.
As I've gotten older, I've realized, and kind of like what Kate was talking about before, like if you are vulnerable, you kind of form those relationships with people, and people want that authenticity and they want to feel those bonds. And when I started talking about like going through infertility, I heard from so many people who were going through the exact same thing, who had been almost ashamed to talk about it. And so in that way, I think writing a memoir was a real pivot for me to be that vulnerable on the page, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's courageous anytime someone, Busy wrote her memoir. You wrote this memoir.
And Kate's memoir about
Kate's
losing your mom.
Yes.
Dead Moms Club.
Yeah.
Caissie needs to write a memoir, but she has other stuff she's doing first. But
Other stuff I'm doing first.
You do.
Yeah, a lot of memoirs happening, and I really admire the courage that it takes to put it down. And also, Doree, I had an unintentional epiphany, like reading.
Whoa.
Reading, because you talk about, there's also like a lot of kind of, there's a lot of career stuff. There's a lot of really personal stuff. There's also like kind of fun, juicy romance stuff. But you talk early on, I don't want to give too much away, but you talk early on about like this kind of hot guy that you dated and that like, how he was like emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
And how he's a journalist, this guy, Luke, right? That's his name. And he's always taking off at a moment's notice and being like sent on assignment and really not communicative. And then, and you were kind of trying to figure out, like, why am I so, like, I love this guy because he's hot. Like, I really care about this guy because he's so hot. But then I was
boy.
No, she's so into this guy because he's like her dad.
Yes.
Like the second, like your dad was always traveling, right, for his business, and you didn't know when he was going to leave.
Yes.
Like, so, and then, but that wasn't the epiphany. The epiphany, which is so dumb, it's like the most obvious epiphany, is that like we all get stuck in these patterns where we're like, reenacting the relationship that we have with our parents. And then I was like, oh, this is why my whole life is just relationships where I'm continually stuck in relationships where I'm endlessly encouraging people that are never actually trying to do the thing they need encouragement to accomplish. You know what I mean? Does that
Wow. And how does that kind of relate to what you experienced with your parents?
Oh, it was my dad. Like, my dad wanted to be a musician and
I'm getting
needed,
chills, by the way.
Needed endless encouragement. And I was like a kid. So he just needed like endless encouragement. And then I'm like, why was he not encouraging me to do things?
Right. Like, you're the kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. So I kind of had this epiphany that Caissie's talking about. Again, not to give too much away, but like, it's in the book. When I started dating Matt, I was like, okay, I'm finally with someone who is not emotionally unavailable, who like says he does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah.
Which was like mind blowing to me. And I was talking to my therapist and I was like, why is this so mind blowing to me? Like, why am I so like convinced that people are just going to say they're going to do something and then not do it? And, and they're going to just like leave. And I won't know when they're coming back. And she kind of helped me connect the dots with the way I'd grown up with my dad, who was, not neglectful or abusive or anything, but like
just a pattern.
A pattern. And she was like, and you repeat that pattern because even though it's a little, it's basically self-destructive, it's what you're comfortable with. It's what you're familiar with.
Yes.
Right.
And so there's comfort in that pattern, even though it doesn't ultimately serve you. And I was like, how do I break this pattern? Like I saw with Matt that I didn't want to push him away because I was subconsciously seeking out the pattern of being with someone emotionally unavailable. So I had to really kind of like rewire myself almost, because at one point, Matt said to me at one point, like kind of incredulously, like, why don't you think I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do? Like, he really didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right. Okay. Yes. Like, it was just like this real epiphany for me. So, I think with Matt, I had finally gotten to the point where I was like ready to have that epiphany, ready to have that like catharsis. And he was there for me. And my therapist helped me like connect the dots.
It's so wild. And then when you made the move from like New York to LA and you were just talking about like, you know, you and your friend just decided to go on like a man cleanse, which I thought was so funny. And you were just like, kind of like, and I have a lot of girlfriends that I feel like are going through this kind of right now, like in their 40s, where they're like, I just decided to stop. You know, and I guess that is how you change it, sort of, which it seems again like so obvious. Like, how do I change this? How do I change this? Oh, you just stop. You know, like you just
of
stop.
course.
It's, you know, like you just stop doing that thing, which it's probably much more complicated than that, but also probably not much more complicated than that.
Well, it's complicated for people when their brains are wired in ways that make them have addictive personalities, so that they're either addicted to love or addicted to shopping or drugs or alcohol. Caissie, this morning I was on my Instagram stories, I was saying that I read my favorite horoscope, you guys, is this guy. I read like so many different horoscopes, but my favorite one is this guy, Rob Bresney, and it's called Free Will Astrology. And he always writes like this very flowery and like poetic and beautiful thing. And I just like fucking love them. Some days, some weeks, I'm like, this is perfect. And this week, his was Cancerian author Franz Kafka, which, by the way, didn't know Franz Kafka was a Cancer. No. So I'm learning something. Put his characters into surreal dilemmas. In The Metamorphosis, for example, the hero wakes up one day to find he's transformed into a giant insect. Despite his feral imagination, however, Kafka had a pragmatic relationship with consumerism. I do not read advertisements, he said. I would spend all of my time wanting things. In accordance with astrological omens, I invite you to adopt his earthy attitude for the next 2 weeks. Take a break from wanting things, period. Experiment with feeling free of all the yearnings that constantly demand your attention. Please note, this break in the action won't be forever. It's just a vacation. When you return to wanting things, your priorities will have been realigned and healed, and you'll feel refreshed. Well, I've been wanting too many things, guys, and I can't stop looking at things that I want. And so now I'm putting myself on the Franz Kafka cleanse.
Is that for Cancers?
Yeah. Are you a Cancer?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, when's your birthday?
I'm July 10th. And
okay.
Because you're a Cancer busy. Yeah.
Of course.
All I do is I look at one bag on Poshmark that I've been staring at for like, I've sent Doree the link to the bag.
A very nice bag.
It's a nice, it's
well,
in
now
good
I want to
use
see the
shape.
bag.
It's just a basic Goyard tote.
I love a Goyard.
Can I tell you guys something that's really helpful? Because I'm a big wanter as well. And like, I'm not in a position to be wanting things truly at this time. It's not a good time for me to be wanting many things. Is that when I worked for David Letterman, again, back in those 1990s heady media days, one of the things is that like he was a very famous, very popular guy, and people always wanted him to be doing things, and he wanted to say yes to as many things as he could. But that wasn't a lot of things, to be honest, like because he wasn't like a super outgoing guy. And so we developed in his office a set of criteria for things that things had to meet in order for him to say yes to. Like, was it charitable? Did it have to do with children? Did it like, you know, was it raising money? You know, and like it was like a little flow chart, what said yes and what said no. And if it didn't meet so many criteria, then it was a no. And we would literally say, like, unfortunately, it doesn't meet the criteria of what he's able to make time for
commit to
in his schedule right now. But that is the kind of rules that I put on everything in my life right now, including allowing myself to want or buy anything. So I'm like, if like I'm like gonna want a bag, I'll put like criteria on it. Like it has to be within this cost. It has to be within this size, these colors, this material, blah, blah, blah. And so if I saw a bag like that, I'd be like, it has like all these things, but it's like 1 inch too small. It's out of here. It's got to go.
That's like real conscious consumerism. That's really smart because it's so easy to self-soothe with shopping.
Oh my God. It's my favorite thing in the world.
It's really, I mean, it's so easy to just scroll and click and it doesn't even feel real. Like it's not even like being in a store where you actually have to like, let me use some objects in my closet. You have to like physically take the item and hand over your credit card. Like the online aspect too, I think makes it really hard.
And I know that I am like a major consumer, and I purposefully my entire life have stayed away from online shopping because of that very self-awareness. Like, I know. And, then it happened and here we are. And I just like, what else was I to do with all of those horrible feelings I was having? For a couple months, I was just donating money to charities, which felt good. But then at a certain point, I started wanting stuff again. And
when you get something, when you buy something and it comes to you online, like how long does it usually bring you joy for? Honestly asking.
I mean, I don't know if it ever actually brings me joy, is the truth. But I like...
Or like a rush. But both Doree and Kate too.
Ooh.
It depends what it is, I would say.
I think like, we talk about skincare a lot on Forever 35. And in a lot of ways, the purchasing of skincare was really giving me that high because there's the anticipation that the skincare can fix something.
It's the promise.
Yeah. So like when you buy a piece of clothing, like it's exciting, but then it's like, oh, I'm going to get this oil or this serum and it's going to feel so special and I'm going to use it and everything's going to fucking change. And then truthfully, for the most part, nothing changes. And then it's like, well, on to the next. And then, so I think it lasts a little longer with stuff like that because there's an actual using of the item.
Right.
But then there's the low, and that's like the chaos of it all, I think. And I also think it's interesting what you said, Caissie, because it sounds like you have really good boundaries. Like you've learned how to set really good boundaries, not just with yourself, but like if you apply that method to saying no to asks of other people or just, I don't know. That you have a lot of wisdom. You have to write a book. You do have a lot of wisdom.
I mean, my mother said it earlier this week, Kate, and now you're saying it. And I feel like, wisdom, Caissie. I feel like I have my set of rules for acting jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
conditions must be perfect.
Yeah.
And like, it's like a checklist for me, if I'm going to say yes to an acting job, but
put it on dresses.
Never has occurred to me to put it on dresses.
Put it on clothes.
I think I've become a little addicted to the consumption and, sorry for lack of a better word, purging cycle where,
Sure.
I really love going through my stuff and getting rid of stuff. But to get rid of stuff, you have to have stuff. And so I find myself in this cycle of like, almost, I don't think I'm buying things just to get rid of them, but I think I do really enjoy the act of, downsizing.
Oh, and you're like Marie Kondoing.
Yes, exactly. Like constantly condoing.
Do you guys get stuff sent to you for free because of the podcast? Like, do you get a lot of stuff that shows up at your door?
Yes.
Yeah. Skincare.
Mostly skincare, beauty stuff.
Like, do you have your own like skincare and beauty closets?
I don't have room for one, but
yeah.
I could use some more storage, but like that's another thing where I should just be giving stuff away more.
There's a weird also, not to bring it back to like my dad, but like based on how he grew up, like this kind of idea that there's never going to be enough. And so like sometimes when I get something, sent to me, even if I'm never going to use it, I'm still like, can't throw it away.
Yeah.
I've got to
get rid of it. Yeah.
Yes. And it's this, and I think that's just kind of conditional on based on things I saw as a kid. Oh,
well,
God,
also like I'm super honored. You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
Yes.
oh, they sent
Yes,
it to
totally.
me. Like,
Totally.
like when, you know, I know people get like the PR boxes for things. Like I'm not a huge star, so it's very rare that I'll get like a PR box for a TV show or something. And I'm like, oh my God, this is such a huge honor. And so it'll be like a wacky, like giant foam shark. And I'm like, I have to keep this foam shark for whatever reason. And then I'm like, no, I really don't. I guess I don't.
Well, the one thing that I still have fucking hung on to and like paid to have it moved out here was the giant uterus shaped pinata that was sent to me.
Well, you have to keep that forever.
That's amazing.
I know, I like
though.
love it. I like truly love it and was like, I mean, yes, I guess I have to keep it forever. I thought that like when Birdie got their period the first time, I would throw like a big party. And then Birdie got their period during the first lockdown of the fucking pandemic. And I was like, well, kid, welcome.
Welcome to pandemic periods, which are worse
Yeah.
than regular periods.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just like
that's
another way
intense.
to judge time passing. Anyway. But I do love, like, yeah, there are some things like that are so dumb when you get sent them and so exciting. And you're like, well, I'm never getting rid of this.
Yeah.
Insane
Yeah,
thing. I found my white chick's backpack, crew backpack, guys, when I was unpacking some stuff, like some boxes arrived and I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Never getting rid of it.
Free stuff is weird. It's a weird thing. I always
Are you guys in the merch game with Forever 35?
So
We've dabbled in it, and it was a headache.
yeah, we didn't. The demand was there, and then when we made it, the demand actually wasn't there. So it was a real like kind of like learning business experience.
It's a real mind fuck.
Yeah, people were like, "When's the merch?" And then we made it, and then it was like, meh.
We don't want this merch.
And then like, we didn't like love the merch, but we didn't really know. We like had contracted with some people to do it for us. It was kind of a big mess, and we pulled the plug on it. And since then we've been like, we should bring merch back, but like we don't. It seems so overwhelming to deal with.
It is.
Your merch is good. I like your.
Yeah.
You all had good
We
merch.
had great merch.
Yeah, but we really, I mean, Caissie and I can talk. We went deep. Like it was a long time, and we were very involved, and we were like, and Caissie like researched a ton of places because we wanted to make sure that it met our criteria.
Yes.
And so we wanted to make, that they were doing things in a green or as eco-friendly way as possible, and that it was a woman-owned business, and they have a charitable. It was a lot, guys. It is a lot.
Yeah.
And we've been like, we were like, we're going to do like multiple drops. And like, we've done one. and then we keep saying like, guys, the t-shirts are coming. We swear. It's fucking hard.
It's hard.
It is hard. I mean, you're doing it all yourself. I mean, that's one thing that I have found. Like, I don't think I realized that right away listening to your show, that you're doing it yourselves. Like it is your own operation, which is both super empowering. I think as Doree and I have found, like just doing this ourselves and we would have meetings with people about our podcast, joining, their networks. And oftentimes we would just like, we have to know this isn't a comfortable fit until we found a managing partner that we work with. But
we took meetings and stuff. And like you heard, some of them were people saying that we should, make sure that the podcast is 50 minutes or whatever.
Yep.
And we were gonna do the podcast with a company. And then Caissie and I was just like, why are we doing this? We're gonna get notes. They're gonna like want us to do like, why don't we just fucking do it?
We had done the podcast like independently for a few weeks just to like not lose the audience that we had. And then we were like on the verge of signing with a company, and they were like basically telling us like, you're gonna keep doing the same amount of work yourselves, but we're gonna be your boss. So no.
That doesn't sound like a great deal.
Yeah. And then they were like, we're going to help you grow your podcast. And we were like, oh, how? And they were like, we're going to tell you to go on other podcasts. And we were like, oh, we can just do that ourselves.
We'll just do that. But also, guys, I'm curious, like, do you either of you feel pressure, like the constant content pressure of this world that we are in?
Yes.
I've felt it lately on social media. Like, I've been feeling lately like I have nothing to post on Instagram. Like, I'm just like, what is there? I've sort of lost the will to gram.
Same.
Like,
I got to be honest. Same.
Yeah.
Which is wild for me.
Yeah, that is wild for you.
Yeah.
I took a break from Instagram for a month or so where I just had to take it off my phone and not look at it and not feel that pressure to constantly be like, I think I was feeling like if I didn't post things on Instagram, then I wasn't doing a good job being a person and being like a good member of society and also like sharing parts of myself, but it was really affecting my mental health. And I have a book that'll be coming out next year, and social media is just a part of it now. Like you essentially have to be on it. And so I'm setting up the boundaries. Like I had to get off Twitter because it was so fucking with my mental health. So I feel like similarly to what David Letterman has taught us, like you have to set up these kind of parameters for this stuff because otherwise you do feel pressure. Like I feel pressure to learn how to TikTok.
I'm not doing
it.
To. But you know what, Kate? My feeling is that I want to allow my children to have their own social media experience.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That is not, especially because of who I am and like that I, have a lot of people that know who I am. Like, I don't want to be a person who's like, I'm like nailing TikTok and my 13-year-old is like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why are you, So Birdie has like private, all of their stuff is like private. We monitor and everything. But like, I just felt like you guys can do that. That can be yours. Yeah. And because Birdie's like, Instagram's for old people.
And they're not wrong.
No, they're not. But I'm like letting you off the hook for TikTok because I feel like it's just
Thank you.
Make it like a cool parenting choice.
I like that reframe there, Busy, because it was like, this is too much work. I don't understand how they like edit these videos and like do the stitching. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, I have to fucking like take my clothes to the dry cleaner. I can't.
I just read an article about how all these like young 20-somethings are feeling burned out from TikTok. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, all these TikTok stars are like, this is affecting my mental health. I can't keep up. Like, this is horrible. So,
well, also, has anybody done a piece where they've gone and found Vine stars and seen how they're doing? All the people that got famous on Vine?
Baby, they switched. Vine went to YouTube, and then that was like the Vlog Squad, and then they got canceled because of like bad behavior. And some Vine stars have popped back up on TikTok. I actually know a lot about this.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, you just gave us a real rundown.
Yeah. Well, because now like the new YouTubers are actually Twitchers, or I don't think that's what they call them, but they're kids that post on Twitch, but then they upload portions of their streams from Twitch onto YouTube. So they have like multiple rev streams.
Whoa.
Hey, everybody.
That's the ticket.
Wow.
And the Twitch thing is fucking wild because these kids who like pre-pandemic, there's this like Dream SMP, and which is like the server that this guy from Florida, Dream is his like gamer name, and he's never shown his face, which just makes me uncomfortable. I'm just gonna say,
he's 47 years old.
He's like in his 20s. Well, the kids are like ranging in the Dream SNP. The kids range in age from like 16 to like late 20s, probably. But like during the pandemic year, they went from like not like no one knowing who the fuck any of these people were to becoming like literally the biggest stars of like preteen and teen gaming culture and making millions and millions and millions of dollars, these children. It's nuts. And Birdie and I had to have like a real talk about it because they kept wanting to show me these Twitches and these live streams and the lore from the SMP. And the teenage boys, now there's half of them are from the UK and half of them are from the United States. The ones from the United States are very triggering for me to watch because they're like skater, gamer, teen boys, like the teen boys that did horrible things to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't even know why I was getting so fucking agitated, like when Birdie was showing me these videos, like, but it was literally causing me to have like panic, and I couldn't watch these kids like talking to each other and like gaming with each other and like their little bro male aggressive fucking bullshit energy. I hate it. Anyway,
you know what? You're hitting something for me because I have watched a lot of these like TikTok hetero boys, cis white guys who are like, you know, ranging in age from like 17 to 23. And it makes it gives me anxiety. It's really, you just put it into words what I don't know if I felt, but like I didn't know what it was, but it makes me feel small and it makes me feel like I'm 16 again. And the pressure I felt that I have had to work for years to get rid of like, I've just got to say yes to these people, you know, like they're, it's, ugh.
I kind of feel this with the girls.
Oh, well, yes. Doree. Yes.
Like
all of it,
you know, seeing these like cliques of girls on TikTok and they're all like so pretty. And I'm like, oh, this like brings me back to when I felt like the outsider, the ugly duckling. These are the mean girls. Like that is also triggering for me. Which is sad.
I mean, there's a lot. Somebody, who was it? Who was I just with yesterday? Katie Storino.
Oh,
love her.
So cute. And Katie was like, can I ask you a question? Does being around your teenager, like, is it hard because you see them going through things or whatever, and then you just like get sucked into it and you just feel like you're right back in it? And I was like, yes, it is. That is exactly what happened.
It's so weird. Even I can't tell you how many dads I've spoken to who are like, they seem in awe. They're like, my daughter is like, wants to be an influencer and she's friends with this one who has like, you know, 100,000 followers on TikTok. Do you know her? Have you ever heard of her? And I'm like, Dad, settle down. Like, what a weird stage dad you are, you know?
It is hard. And like the constant content of it all, I think is draining on everyone. And I think, you have to like figure out, maybe we all need to do the David Letterman / Caissie St. Ange. I assume Caissie made it up. I don't think Dave came up with it. Or my rules for taking acting jobs, like conditions must be perfect. I'm getting like weary of seeing people who have so much, like this is like how I've, you know, been able to have money. The Instagram and social media and stuff is like how I've been able to have, make money and for people such as yourselves, like selling books, promoting your podcast, like that's all a piece of major piece of it because you have this platform and, you know, not to be, but like, you know, a writer from like BuzzFeed or Rolling Stone or very rarely do you get like a profile pre-social media. Like you know what I mean? Like only a few writers would have like huge profiles.
Yes, totally.
And so it is important. And then I get like exhausted by the actual, what I view as like actual huge celebrities that are like hiring companies and just like putting out all of their own content that's just like incredible for like that they're just doing for fun, I guess. I don't know if it's for fun. I can never figure out why they're doing it, where they're like making food. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Yes. I
You're
mean,
I
movie
think
star.
it's just to maintain a heartbeat.
I
know
think
what
you're
mean?
right. Like
I don't understand it.
I don't either. But then I'm like, I'm not an actor, but that sounds like a fucking grueling industry. So like, is she just staying relevant, or maybe it is her passion and she's just like, well, I'll just make pasta for people. I don't know.
Except that like that like a lot of people hire people to like come over and they do all the content on like for like 3 days and then you know what I mean?
I learned about this from your podcast because you all were talking about this.
Yeah,
and
because I'm annoyed by it, obviously, because it's like a thing for me because I've done all this fucking bullshit myself, and I'm like, oh really? You can just fucking pay someone to come up with all the ideas and do it for you? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that. And I'm so naive, I didn't know. I was just like, sometimes I feel so dumb. I'm like, I live in LA. I should know there are like these celebrities who I'm like, tra-la-la, look at their original content, that it's been like curated to the like, you know, the pixel. But
well, Kate, along those lines, you know, it blew my mind when I found out that when influencers and celebrities take selfies with their phones, someone's taking that picture.
Oh, I know, Doree. I had the same fucking revelation.
Wait, what happened?
Okay.
What happens? Because I don't. When I take a selfie, I take a fucking selfie.
Yes, because you are a real person. But when these people are taking selfies with their phones and posing and like it's a perfect picture and you're like, how the fuck did they just take that selfie with their phone? It's because we're not fucking taking it. Someone is taking a picture of them holding up their phone, taking a selfie.
Or they're setting up a camera on a tripod.
Yes. They're not taking the photo with their phone.
Do they just put their arm up?
Yeah. No, or it's like this photo where they're like in front of a mirror.
Holding up her phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not actually doing that.
I mean, I'm also always fooled by hair extensions. So I feel like I'm.
Yeah, but
I thought like
thing what was like personally offensive to me because I feel like I've never taken a good phone selfie. I'm like, how the hell do these people just constantly take these amazing pictures? Come to find out, they're not.
Well,
except
I had no idea that. Yeah, I mean, I do.
You do take a good selfie,
but I mean, if I, but I didn't fucking know that was a thing either. It is shocking. I didn't know, you guys. I didn't know about Facetune, and then I had a friend like this. Like I didn't know about. I also am a little bit Kate, like you, a little like always. What?
Yeah.
That's why the revelation about these like content companies for celebrities and stuff was really rocked my world. Really rocked my world because
the hair extensions of social media.
Yes,
it
totally.
It really is. It really is. Well, guys, this is like I could talk to you for the next 3-4 hours.
This has been a real treat. I gotta
so
say,
fun.
I've loved getting to chat with y'all. It's been so fun.
It's so fun talking to you guys because we love your podcast so much. I've been a guest on your podcast.
You have been a guest,
which was so fun. And
I'll be a guest, but I can't talk about any face creams except for Olay.
That's fair. Busy, you to be honest, you are like one of the most requested guests we've ever had.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And for so long we've been like, we don't fucking know how to get into like, yes, she'd be amazing. Like people will just be like, hey, can you guys get Busy Phillips on? And we're like, sure. So anyway, now we can. So we will fucking
I would love to.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we would love it. It would be really fun. Because
that's so fun.
You speak so honestly, both of you, about like mental health and your self-care that I think I think that's why your Instagram resonates as authentic, even though I'm sure it is annoying that, fucking everybody else is hiring secret camera crews.
It's fine. It's fine because you know what, Kate? Like here's what I've come to, when I'm being chill about it, this is what I am thinking. I don't pay anyone to do this for me. And I do get paid by brands and they want me to post and stuff. And that's great. And I will continue to keep up my social media in order to like have that revenue stream as long as it exists. That being said, I don't feel fucking pressure to post a photo every day. I don't feel pressure to do Instagram stories every day. And I don't ever feel like if I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling in the mood to like post stories for a few days, like being like, guys, I got to take a break. I got to take a break for me and my mental health and my children and our well-being. Like, I just don't feel like I don't feel beholden to the machine of the content.
Yeah.
And whenever I start to feel that, then I'm like, I have to remind myself, like, it will bring you no joy. It will not be authentic. It'll be fucking bullshit. And like, just don't do it. Just like walk away. You get it out of your head.
Those are the parameters.
Yeah, those are my parameters. Those are my parameters.
Your
So, like,
acting checklist.
It's yes. Oh my God. I did have my own parameters. I didn't even realize it.
You set
That's
good
so funny.
boundaries.
That is a
Oh, we lost Kate. Her computer just froze.
Oh
All right.
no.
She doesn't want to reboot because she's afraid the audio clip will be gone.
She will. That's right. Okay. So we'll just say goodbye to you.
Okay. This was amazing. Seriously.
Everybody, please, if you haven't checked out the Forever 35 podcast, please subscribe, download the episodes, listen to it. If you love this podcast, you're going to love Forever 35. Also, get Doree's memoir, Thanks for Waiting. It's really great. Congratulations, Doree.
Oh, thank you so much.
And Kate is amazing, but her computer froze. Her memoir, The Dead Moms Club, came out a couple of years ago, but
Also
deals with
great book.
her
So good.
grief
Yeah.
and the loss of her mom to pancreatic cancer. So if that's something that resonates with you, maybe you want to get Dead Moms Club. And guys, what a delight.
This was
All right.
so fun. Thank you again.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you so
guys.
much. Bye.
Hey guys, it's me. It's Busy Phillips. I'm back. Did you like that interview? Did you like the things we talked about? It was before I had Invisalign. Did you like my voice better? If you have thoughts or feelings, if you have questions, you can share any of those things with us at busydoingherbest@gmail.com. Also, please subscribe, download, share this podcast if you like it. I mean, honestly, if you don't like it, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
If
what do
you wanted
care?
to subscribe and download it. Like, what does it matter? It
No
doesn't
sweat
matter.
off your balls.
Yeah, you don't give a shit. You're not listening to it, but just you're downloading it, and then I get credit. We get
but
credit.
don't rate a review. Do the other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't
If you
like it.
do like it, maybe do write a review.
There
If
you go. There you go.
Love it. Please write a review.
And if you don't like it, just subscribe and download it and then like delete it because you're still a good person.
Yeah, you're a good person. You want other people
Yeah.
to succeed. Like
And
us.
if you don't have time, don't delete it. Just keep it.
just keep it. Just keep it. And then also then you want to just go on over to Kulap's podcast, add to cart, and just add it to your proverbial cart of
Yes.
podcasts
Please.
and download and subscribe that one.
It's so fun. It's Kulap
It
and
is.
Suchin Pak.
When am I going to be on it?
I was just gonna formally ask you. Will you please? Will you please be on it?
I would love to. That sounds great.
I'd love to hear all your add to carts you remove from carts. Be it
I've done a lot of carts, and I've gotten myself into trouble with some carts. I have people that are still emailing me that I still have things in my cart, and I'm like, guys, you got to let it go. You have to let me go. You have to let me go. It's never happening, and you got to let me go.
Did you forget something? I like when they email that.
Did you?
It looks like
Did
you
you
forgot something.
Caissie was an amazing guest. She kind of shook our world by introducing us to the Dr. Tongue's I call it iconic toothbrush.
I don't know this toothbrush.
Oh boy.
But you know what?
Take it away.
Wait, but you know what? I did buy the Revlon hairbrush dryer finally
Yes.
after
Yes.
all this fucking time, Caissie.
I've been
And-
trying. Well, because you bought it a while ago and then you ended up giving it to someone else. And then,
Oh,
but
that's
now
right.
you
I
have
did.
it
You're
for
right. You're right.
yourself. Now
Mhm.
you got it for yourself. That was my first attempt to get into the influencer game. And I felt like I influenced a lot of people, but I wasn't recognized by the influencer community.
You were not recognized in the way that you should have been. And let me just tell you something, though. That product is fucking amazing.
It's good, right?
I had this thing that they were like, there's no budget for hair and makeup. Ray was like, there's no budget for hair and makeup. Do you want to like pay out of pocket? And I was like, no, I got the Revlon thing now. I'm good. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, dude. I just like, boom.
blow
It's
and
a
go.
blowout. It looks great.
Do you
Have
know
ever
that
used it,
item,
Kulap?
Kulap?
No, let me write it down.
It's the Revlon One Step. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
on one step. Got
It
it.
looks
Or
like a
volumizer.
giant. It's like a giant weird hairbrush that blow
dryer.
you as
All right.
well.
Add to cart.
Yeah, it's so good. It's not very expensive. You can get it on sale. It comes in different colors now. People complain that it's a little loud, but I feel like, for what it does, you can take the loudness.
And how long are we doing this, right?
It works really fast as well.
Okay.
So that's
It's
like
I honestly, it's wild. How
it's
great
a
it works.
life changer. It's a life changer. And like I try not to get bitter. I feel like I've had TV show ideas stolen from me. I feel like I've not been hired on TV shows where I've been promised to be hired on them. I don't get bitter about things like that. I try to let that bitterness go. But this is the one thing where I'm holding a little bit of a grudge because I feel like I popularized that blow dryer and I was not embraced by the influencer community in the way that I should have been.
or just embraced by Revlon.
I mean,
You know, like maybe that's more where maybe we're misplacing your disappointment. And
Yeah.
it should be
I mean,
in the
maybe.
brand
Yeah,
itself for like
what are
and
influencers supposed to
thanking
do
you
for me? Yeah, that's true.
and sending you other stuff.
Maybe. Either way,
I mean, I feel like Dr. Tongue should be sending you things. And you know that anytime it comes up, I'm always credit where credit is due.
Thank you. Dr. Tongue's busy. You got to get on the Dr. Tongue's train, especially if you're focusing on your teeth and you're going to all this trouble to get the food. You need the Dr. Tongue's floss and the toothbrush. Ionic toothbrush and Dr. Tongue's floss. Write it down.
It's science.
Who is this person?
We don't know. A man of, it could be he or she or they
Or
of
they.
mystery. A
It's like
mystery.
it's
How
like,
did you find this? How did you come to Dr. Tongue's?
Oh my God. You know what? You can listen to the episode of Add to Cart that I was on with Kulap and Suchin. And I explain the whole, like how I came to find Dr. Tongue's toothbrush.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's just like, I
I'm
just
into
was
it.
not satisfied with like my
Oh my
oral
God, I
hygiene
have
game.
I have Dr. Tongue's tongue cleaner.
Oh, there you go. You got to get the
Wow.
toothbrush and the floss.
You know,
I'm getting it.
just a bit of a preview. You're going to have to keep the base of it wet with your fingers, but we don't have
Yeah.
to get into that right now. We don't have to get it right now.
It's a little freaky. I can't decide if it's science or witchcraft, but
Could
either
be
way,
both.
Who
Could be
cares?
both.
Who cares?
I don't know. I'm obsessed already. I'm on the site. I'm doing it. That's fantastic. You know what? I have so many things to talk about on Add to Cart. So
Can't
I'm
wait.
going to need to be booked ASAP.
Understood.
Too sweet.
What else? Anything? Oh, guys, this is big news. This is the last call for our old merch styles. If you didn't get it, if you were it's going away. We're launching new merch soon. If there are things that you like and you're like, I wanted to get that, you should get it now because
If you want that alpine ski track jacket
or whatever.
the matching leggings, some of those things are going away. So
Rainbow jumpsuit, rainbow sweatsuit, whatever. You just go to where do people go to buy the merch?
Go to Brave.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Go to bravegowns.com and then you can find the busy merch under their header. And
And add to cart.
And add to cart.
Add what you like to cart.
Honestly, couldn't have done it better. Guys nailed it. Well, this has been delightful, and I can't wait for this to be over so I can tell you guys the thing that I can't tell.
I want to know.
I'm gonna tell you.
What a teaser.
I'm gonna tell you, but guys, I'll let you guys all in on it later. It's exciting for everybody, and I don't know. We'll see how I do with this Invisalign.
Kulap, it's been a dream come true. Everybody subscribe to Kulap's podcast, add to cart, follow her on Twitter and Instagrams and all the things, because she's the dream come true.
Thank you.
And we love you guys.
This was an absolute joy. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. We like that. And guys, we like you. We love you. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week. Talk to you.
Keep doing your best.
Yeah, we're not going to see you, but we're going to talk to you next week. And we love you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.